Hello and welcome to the Comicspiracy, episode 339 for the week of January 2nd, 2018. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Lego Bryce.
Whoa.
Kevin Sharp and his large bottle of booze.
Whoa.
I thought you were going to say something else is large, but Toby is here.
And Charlie.
And on the phone, not present, but our good friend Scott Shea is going to have some things to say later in this episode
He's on the phone?
via Kevin Sharp. So
Where's the phone come into play?
it's in Kevin's pocket. It's a phone. It's a cell phone.
Scott's list is literally on the phone.
Scott, no, yeah.
You
So
don't have
we're
a
doing
mic,
our
so
top.
Nobody heard any of that.
We are doing our top 3 comic book movies and TV shows of 2017, along with various honorable mentions and whatever
No,
nerdy
I don't
other-
want to go back to 2017.
Whatever.
I don't want to go back.
Well, we're not going to be in 2018 for too much longer if Trump's tweets or anything to live by. So,
Oh, jeez.
but this apparently was news to 4 of the 6 members of the podcast,
No, I knew it
and the
was
only
coming.
2 people that knew it was coming are the 2 people that are actually part of this podcast, Kevin and Scott. So you guys suck. Like, what's up? They're sitting here making their lists as I'm recording. So, Bryce, if I
By the way,
immediately
I
say,
have no.
Bryce-
I have my list in my head. I just need to. I'm a visual person. I'm
okay.
a sensual man. I need to.
See, when
I need
you
to
walked
see
in-
a list, print it out, and hold it, and I just didn't get to.
when you
chance
walked
to do it
in
at work.
and you were like, so what are we talking about tonight?
Charlie, have
No,
we,
no, no, no. I knew what we were talking about in terms of movies and TVs. I was wondering if the scope involved anything else. If anything, Higgins, you are known for scope creep, and anybody in the services industry knows exactly what I'm talking about, or the sales industry.
It's been on the group for like 3 weeks.
No, you are the scope creep motherfucker of 2017. Let's hope this doesn't bleed into 2018.
Okay.
We barely prepare half the time for this podcast anyway.
I prepare. Just on my fault that
would've
you
been
guys
prepared.
don't
I
prepare.
was
He's lying. It's
Technically, we've delayed this
preoccupied.
episode how many times? So
Just once?
No.
I was like, yeah, whatever.
second day of 2018. Higgins is lying already. I'm surprised it took him this long. You never prepare, motherfucker.
What are you taught? Just because you don't look at the Facebook group with all the stuff I put on there and you don't actually read anything
I
to put
look
on there
at it.
doesn't mean that I don't prepare.
I look at it. I just can't look at the sales chart one.
Yeah,
you put
that's
it
all-
up there, and I'm like, well, I
That's for
can't
me.
read that one.
I'm just going to throw out the theory this may be the fastest you've ever gotten to the explicit tag since pushing record.
Oh, I forgot. Kevin is the one that doesn't like me swearing. Kevin, go fuck yourself.
Oh.
Now you just got to do
Well-
hero clicks, and this is the best show ever.
We are going to talk about our top shows and movies, and since these guys are still going through their list, I guess
I'm not going through. I knew
think
what it
me
is.
and Charlie are good, and Kevin, you are
I'm
good
good.
as
No,
well as
I'm
Scott.
good. I'm good. I could go first. You want me to go first? I'll go first.
So
Oh,
why don't we
Bryce could go
start?
for
Why don't we
days.
start with Scott Shea, our good friend Scott Shea. He could not be here tonight to record, but he wanted his list read by none other than Kevin Sharp. He didn't want anyone else to read it.
Why?
Because Kevin has the sexy dulcet tones.
No more no pants to Scott
of
Shea.
of a good podcaster. So we have our top 3 comic book TV shows of 2017. There are so many comic shows we can actually do this. The last couple of years, I feel like it's gotten more, but like last year and this year, there's so many shows. So I don't know if Scott gave it to you in any sort of order.
Well, they're not in alphabetical order, so I'm going to assume they're preference order.
Okay.
Okay, so
why don't
you
we
want
go-
me to read 3, or are we going to do one
Why don't
each
we
and
do
go
3,
around?
2, 1? What are Scott's
Okay.
3 top comic book related TV shows
The
of 2017?
official Scott Shea top TV of 2017. Number 3, Riverdale.
Okay. That's,
Number 2, The Flash. And
CW,
number 1,
CW.
The Punisher.
All right. Punisher Netflix. Riverdale. I will talk briefly because Riverdale is not on my list, but it's definitely right under that top 3 list. I was blown away by how good Riverdale was. I need to catch up on season 2. I haven't watched it all yet, but season 1 of Riverdale really caught me off guard. And I think we talked about this last year. If you don't think you'd like it because it's too kind of teeny bopper or too, if you're like, what? It's just Archie. Who cares?
CW.
It's really good. It's totally worth your time to check out, especially if you like Twin Peaks, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, or kind of more quirky murder mystery shows.
The show that Riverdale kind of reminds me of is, and I've only seen season 1, I would compare it to if somebody says that they liked Veronica Mars.
Yeah,
I would say
similar.
check out Riverdale.
Yeah. Probably not like the comedic level. I don't think Veronica Mars was a little comedy, right?
No.
No?
Well, it was funny, but it was pretty serious.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, I actually think that's a pretty good comparison. I'm surprised.
Jeez.
Well, not at the... No, I just never thought of it that way. I was like, that's not bad.
Yeah, Toby, your mic's over there.
I don't know.
Why don't you shift your laptop to the right so you can do your research and put the mic in front of your face? Or yeah, you do that. There you go. Kevin, do you want to continue?
That's a good comparison, is all I'm saying. I just never thought of it.
What are your three... Do you watch 3 comic book TV shows? Do you have a list?
I do not. I'm looking here now. No, now because we've already, the show. What I kind of gave up on Gotham. I gave up on Legends of Tomorrow a while back. I would put, rather than making a top 3 list, I would say the 2 shows that, when I think of 2017, make the strongest impression on me are Supergirl, and I'll come back to why I like Supergirl when we get to another topic later, and Legion on FX. And Legion was 6 episodes, or 8.
It was
maybe?
a short season.
Yeah, it was like 8 or 10.
Now,
it wasn't 6.
If you add up all of Legion's episodes, the amount of story you get is approximately equivalent to 1 or 2 issues of a comic book. Yeah. Not a lot happened, but I sure enjoyed watching it. It was so interesting and so strange, and every episode was just an experience. Yeah. So that would be my number 1, and Supergirl would be my number 2, and 3 is kind of a vague spot. I don't really have a solid. I don't really have a solid number 3.
Yeah. No, we'll do honorable mention stuff after for non-comic related stuff. I'm sure we will have a lot to talk about then. Let's go left. Let's go left around the table. Bryce, do you have...
Motherfucker, I am across the table from you. How are you going left?
Left of Kevin. Left.
By the way,
that'd be me.
Did you go to fucking school? I am on his right.
Yeah, but you're left of him to me, so you're going left to go counterclockwise.
Holy
left.
shit.
Going from the viewers' point
of view. Okay, all right.
It's stage left.
Well, it's a good thing that was
right
cleared up.
Even.
Okay, yes.
Have you watched 3 comic book TV shows?
You know what?
Year?
I would like to say that I have watched at least 3 of these. I would like to say...
At some point.
I like the fact that he's saying he would like to say. Not that he actually did, but he would like to be able to say it.
No, actually not funny. I actually watched... Let me see here. I watched 1, 2,
this is why we don't give him a list.
3... fucking Bad Radio 4,
Exactly.
5,
Well,
6. I watched 6. I have a top 3 and a bottom 3. Okay, bottom 3 or anything DC related. Just kidding. Okay, so
what are your top 3?
Okay, top 3.
3
is going to be
2, 1.
top 3 that I've watched. Is of the short list is cringe-worthy Defenders, which wasn't bad. It just wasn't that exciting.
So that's your number 3.
Yep.
Show of 2017 Defenders.
Yep.
Okay.
Defenders.
Okay.
Keep in mind, I've only watched 4 comic shows. Number 2 is Runaways, and by the way, Runaways is probably not going to get mentioned by anybody but me. But Runaways has been really good. So
how many episodes officially aired in 2018? 4? 6?
2017?
No.
Well, the finale airing...
I've watched 6, but I haven't been around...
Is there that many?
Yeah, I've watched 6, and I haven't been around TV for a couple weeks because of the holidays.
Is it mid-season, or is that...
2 more episodes.
I would assume
there's
there's been at least 7 or 8 episodes. Okay. It's been extremely good, and by the way, if you're thinking about watching it and you haven't read the source material, Brian K. Vaughan's source material, I would highly suggest you not read Brian K. Vaughan's source material until you've seen the TV show. The reason being is that the TV show is an amazing adaptation of the source material, and if you read the source material while it's really, really good, it'll spoil all the sort of beats and plot twists that are really good in the original comic, and are very well translated to the medium of the small screen. So I highly recommend watching Runaways. My number 1 is Punisher for the reasons that have been mentioned already, but as well as the reasons that in previous podcasts, not today, but the reasons also that will be mentioned subsequent to my own glowing recommendation that Jonathan Bernthal? Is it Bernthal?
Bernthal? Yeah.
Bernthal? He's burning y'all. So I think that he does an amazing job It's adorable when Marvel Comics try to draw. They always do this after they come out in movie or TV. And I'm sure that this is like comics wide, where they try to draw them a little more to the likeness of the popular character that just showed up on whatever cinema format that people are watching. But I thought Punisher was really, really good. Again, my sample size is really small this year. In terms of hype train, I would love to have more time to watch American Gods. Let's see. Flash, I heard was good. Supergirl, I've heard is good, but I will literally never watch it. I watched The Tick, was my fourth one. Couldn't. Sorry, Charlie. Please don't beat me up. Although you couldn't if you tried. The Tick. I tried. I watched.
To hear challenge accepted after that.
I watched 3 episodes of The Tick, and really wanted to like it. But I was just sort of meh on it. I didn't dislike it certainly, but I didn't like the current Tick as much as Putty, and it's probably about expectation setting. But yeah, just sort of meh on the Tick, and may finish it at some point later. Inhumans, really wanted to watch it, but did not get around to watching it. So there's a bunch of, I guess, shout-outs for runners-up that I have not watched. I tell you, the first thing on this list that I will watch that I haven't yet is Legion. I really want to watch Legion. In terms of hype train, that's gotten some good traction. So it'll be that, and then American Gods for me. So yeah, I mean, small sample size, but I know what I like, and what I like is really good, and that's what my wife thinks about me as well.
B-Rock.
Yep.
You get a chance to watch any of these shows this year?
I watched 3 shows this year.
What are your top 3?
DC Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, and Walking Dead.
Okay.
Those are mine.
In that order?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, still on the Walking Dead bandwagon. A
Yeah,
lot of
I
people,
still enjoy it.
I know a lot of people are jumping off this season. I I'm behind. I'm like 8 or 9 episodes back.
As
I only
long
watched
as
the first
Daryl's
couple.
alive, I'm in.
Spoiler alert, motherfucker! I don't know if that
just
registered.
died.
Did.
He just died.
I don't believe you.
He literally just died.
I don't believe you. You know what's dying.
That's why I stopped watching.
The audience's attention with your bad jokes.
I did want to try to at least watch Punisher, but I didn't get a chance. So, but yeah, there's a lot of shows on here I wanted to check out, but just haven't had the time, and I haven't gotten caught up on Arrow. So, yep, that's pretty much it. We're not doing honorable mentions.
Yeah, we'll just do that kind of just at the end. We'll just go random. For me, my number 3 show for the year is a little odd because it's not a show that I really liked, but I respect, and I want to see more things like this, and that's Legion on FX. I thought the show was fascinating. It looked amazing. It was so high quality. I just could not care about the characters at all, and I thought it was just like very dull at points. But it had I can see the quality of the show is there. I want to see what else they can do. It's the same guy behind Fargo and what's the other show? You do another show? I'm blanking on what it is now. So he's done stuff that I really, really like. So I want to see what they do with more Legion. I want to see if they can maybe make me care about these characters a little bit more in the future. Again, while I may not have specifically cared for this season, I can see the quality that's there. I love my CW shows. I'm not going to say that they're on par with the best that HBO and AMC have to offer. They're not. They're fun, right? I mean, I look at them from a very different perspective. So something like Legion, I really enjoyed the visuals of, the style of, less so the characters. But it's still definitely on my list. I think it's a show that everyone should watch. It's a fascinating show. My number 2 is Supergirl. Again, Supergirl continues to be one of the most fun shows on TV, and I was caught so off guard by an episode this season that I had to put it on my list. That was a flashback episode with Kara and her sister to when they were in high school solving a crime, and it felt just like an episode of Smallville, to the point of they call out to a friend of her cousin Clark's that he grew up with named Chloe to help them out with something. And I was like, this is just an episode of Smallville, apparently, with Supergirl in it. So something about that episode, I mean, again, Smallville's not the greatest show ever made, but I have such fond memories of Smallville, and I love this episode of Supergirl. So I almost want, like like a young Kara Adventures show. Like, it was a good episode.
Again, will you just fucking watch Veronica Mars? Again. Like, you just like, I love everything that Veronica Mars is, so you just won't watch this fucking
not
show.
Veronica Mars. Yeah, well, Veronica Mars isn't based on a DC comic, so...
You just need to hack into his TiVo and just load Veronica Mars, and he can't do anything until he watches it.
My number one, though, Legends of Tomorrow. Again, what a fantastic show. I've talked about this show at length on this podcast before. It is the closest thing we're going to get to an American Doctor Who. When I was discussing with Kevin earlier, I said it's like Justice League International. It's that sort of... It's light, it's comedic, it's fun, it has its serious moments, but it's a goofy show, but it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's not afraid of having, like, serious moments. I finally watched the crossover. Finally got to watch the crossover. No major spoilers. We'll keep that maybe for another episode or down the road. But obviously, a character dies. A character is killed off a character from Legends, and it is a pretty big deal. And it's a pretty powerful scene, surrounded by the goofiness that is Legends. So, I have never seen a show have such a shit first season and turn it around so good as Legends of Tomorrow. I mean, like, on anything, like, kind of recently. I mean, like, Star Trek The Next Generation had, like, a rough few seasons, then it just becomes one of my favorite shows of all time. Simpsons a little bit, too. Like, it was very tough that first season. I'm not going to put Legends of Tomorrow quite on that caliber, but it has that same sort of feeling, like, wow, it's so rare that a show can turn around. And I hope it keeps going on. I love Legends. Charlie, what you got?
So I'm definitely going to tread over some stuff that have been mentioned already.
That's fine.
In my number 3 spot, I'm actually going with Supergirl because it's my favorite of the DC shows. It's kind of has this sort of constant, I like what they're doing. It may not be my favorite from like episode to episode.
Oh,
but the overall narrative, it is my favorite.
And how can I forget? They're having the Legion superheroes in this season. It's the best. It's the best show. Sorry, continue.
My number 2, I'm giving it to Legion. Legion was shocking to me, and by the end of the season, which is why when you were talking about it, I was really curious if you actually got to the end of the season.
I finished it. Yeah.
And it blew me away with exceeding certain expectations I had, and just how linked it was to the overall X-Men narrative.
Was it?
Given who the main bad guy was, and like the flashbacks and pseudo flashbacks, like they made it very, very clear what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, I feel Gifted. Yeah. Gifted is like straight up connected to the X-Men. Legion skirts it.
It does a very good job being its own thing, but it's still very connected to the idea of X-Men mythology.
Hold on. How is Gifted not your number one most anticipated
I'm actually
show?
a little surprised about that.
2 things.
You haven't watched it.
It is an X-Men TV show. Like, it's good.
Okay, so by 2 things, I mean more than 2 things.
And way to fucking fuck my list up. Thanks, Ryan. I was like, nobody's mentioned it.
Sorry, Charlie.
Nobody's mentioned it yet. Nobody's mentioning it. Way to fuck it up, man.
All right, well...
No,
take my thunder, Ryan. I only show up every 5 episodes now. You fucking take my thunder.
If Higgins wasn't interrupting somebody, it wouldn't be a Comics Conspiracy episode.
By 2 things, Bryce is meaning his children.
Yes.
By 2, he means 5.
Yep. I have not seen The Gifted is reason number 1. Second of all, I don't even know what channel it's on. Third of all, I am a cord cutter, and so I only have access to things that I can pay for.
You can get it on iTunes or
Hulu.
Is it on Hulu?
Absolutely. That's where I watch it.
Okay. Third or fourth reason, whatever number I'm on, isn't it supposed to be like horror-ish or horror-light?
No. That's the New Mutants movies.
What the fuck have I been staying away from this from? Is it X-Men related?
Yeah. Polaris is the main character.
Polaris is the main character.
Can you please stop taking my fucking thunder, motherfucker?
I am going to watch this tonight.
Not only the villain is like one of Ryan's all-time favorite characters. What? Let me take that thunder from you, bitch.
Stop spoiling it.
For the listeners at home, Bryce's face is bright red right now.
Who can still hear?
Anyway, wait a minute. I thought that, New Mutants is separate from The Gifted, and it's not a CW show?
Yeah.
New Mutants is a fucking movie.
It's a movie this year.
It's a movie?
Yeah.
Mind blown. Okay, my number 1 movie or TV show of the year
is Gifted if you watched
is
it.
The Gifted, according to the Bryce Hype Train, which just left the station.
Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie.
How is The Tick your number one show of 2017?
What?
That's
Yes.
It is
The Tick
not your number one.
The Tick
Oh
is absolutely
my God.
number one show.
Go
of
to the
2017.
shame box. Go to the shame
Hey,
box.
I mentioned The Tick last year too,
yeah, sorry.
and there was only one episode,
There's only 2 seats in the shame box. Go take the
and now I have more.
How
And it's
is it-
amazing.
Yeah, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but obviously
Yeah.
your number
Yeah.
one was Tick.
Oh, you didn't want to see.
I
You
need
just
to-
fucking did it twice in a row.
I need
Wait,
to
did
watch
you
it.
actually watch the Tick, Charlie?
Yes,
to watch
It was
multiple times.
Oh fuck you! It was so non-hype train worthy. It was so fine. It was so not worthy of a number one. It was good. It was good. But
Now I really want to look it up on Rotten Tomatoes just so I can find out it's got like a 99% or something.
well, Charlie, it was
you know what
fucking
blows
better
my
than
mind?
Justice League.
You know what blows my mind that has the highest score on Rotten Tomatoes that shouldn't is Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm baffled by how good that's reviewed versus the show that I watched.
I take a lot of joy in that too.
Hey Higgins, by your own rule,
Toby.
that's under honorable mentions.
Oh.
so
Toby.
And for the record, just because other people did it, I've watched 18 of these shows.
Oh, nerd alert! In full effect. Higgins, by the way, is looking at the printout that he was just blasting us for having to print
Well,
out. Oh, these guys
now I
have
gotta
to look at
measure
the
up.
printout.
Now I gotta measure up.
He is literally looking at the printout right now.
Is that completed 18 or what?
So
Oh,
in
Fair
2017,
question.
there's a couple of them that I'm behind on. Like I didn't count The Gifted because I only watched like the first 2 or 3.
yeah.
well, now you're
But
just a
then I
liar,
did
Charlie.
count stuff like Lucifer because I watched all the remaining of last season and like the first 5 or 6 of this season.
Yeah.
So I'm only like 4 episodes behind.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's very few that I've watched to completion because I'm always catching up on stuff. But I watch or have on my TiVo almost all of these. So
Oh, if you want to talk about what I have on my TiVo,
then it's all of them. Yeah.
Jesus, you are the fucking nerd bigger dicker.
Wait,
Toby.
what number are you at?
I was at 18.
Toby, what is
Fine,
your
I was at 15.
what is
but
your
I'm not
top-
up to date on the 15 either, though.
what is your top list, Toby? Top.
Oh, and The
TV
Tick
shows.
has 93%.
Yeah.
Really?
Look,
Yes.
I'm not saying.
All right.
I'm just saying it's fine. It's good. It's
It's
just
certified fresh.
it. Yeah. Well, that makes some of the things we're going to talk about today mostly burn, or at least mediocre burn.
Toby,
Yes.
you watch a lot of TV shows, and you
Not-
occasionally actually stay awake to finish an episode.
Not
Not often.
this last year. I've kind of fallen off of the TV just because of my schedule, and my Christmas has been a little non-TV like. Also,
Your
even
fucking
though
sleep schedule.
I thought I was going to catch up quite a bit, but something else had something else to say about that. But my number one show is The Punisher for very often spoke about reasons.
You can start with number 3 too, but that's fine.
No, I'm not going to start with number 3 because number 3 is a little trickier.
Okay.
Wait, for which reasons?
Often repeated reasons.
That's fine.
I'm just curious.
Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Number 2 is The Gifted. I
you go.
was thoroughly surprised by how
you-
much I love this
Are
show.
you current with that?
I'm as current as I even watched last night's episode.
Okay, yeah.
Fucking
I've
current.
only seen the first 4, maybe, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. I really want to catch up with it.
watched the pilot and I was like, you know what, I like it, but I wasn't drawn in yet.
I like
And then-
Vampire Bill. He's
and
cool.
then like, you know, what? Who?
Vampire Bill.
Who the fuck is that?
What the fuck?
From
Is this the Gifted?
True Blood.
Yeah, he's the main character.
What?
Yeah.
Who is he?
Or well,
Oh, you're
who
not
is he?
saying that they invented an X-Men character
The
called
dad.
Vampire Bill that
No.
obsoletes
Huh?
this
Oh, the
dad?
memory banks.
Okay, well, I didn't watch that.
I love Vampire Bill.
yeah. He's pretty good in this.
I think.
Did you watch ever True Blood? That's a sentence that Yoda would be proud of.
Yes, I watched it all. Maybe
okay.
maybe the worst last season I've ever seen of a TV show.
Oh, except for Dexter, you are absolutely right. Yeah. Oh,
That's a tough one. That's a
what are
real,
the words that you want to say right now?
That's a real tough
but
one.
you won't say. Is it? Bryce is right.
Mm,
I mean, Higgins, come on. If you're going to say it in your life, that's the most true thing I've ever said in my life.
I think I dislike True Blood more than Dexter. The last season of
no,
Dexter.
you're wrong. Sorry, Charlie disagrees with you. Therefore, you're wrong.
I never watched the last season of True
Charlie,
Blood. I
shut up,
jumped off
Charlie.
Before that.
Just stop talking.
I still need to watch the
Meanwhile,
last season
Toby.
of Dexter.
Yeah, what's your number 3? You know you don't.
No,
you don't.
I'm not done with The Gifted yet.
Oh, go continue.
You're fucking interrupting me, man. No, I when I watched the first one, I wasn't in yet, and then I recently just started watching all of them, and I fucking love the show. I feel like I feel like it's the other half of the X-Men movies I've been missing.
Yeah.
Like, while the 90s Fox cartoon was like the perfect amalgamation of the X-Men, I felt like half of it was missing in the movies, and this is the other half. And I'm just floored by it. When you get characters I probably shouldn't care about, but absolutely love them, then you got me in. I thought all the tensions between the characters are great. All the stuff I love from the 90s TV show that I really cared about is in this show. Story-wise, I'm really in. I absolutely love the show, and I love the characters. My number 3, I was gonna give it to the crossover for the CW stuff because I love it was just nonsensical superhero stuff, and I really liked it. I'm not up to date actually on Flash and all the other superhero Arrow. I've fallen off the wagon there a little bit. I'm still up to date on Fear and Walking Dead. I actually really, really love those shows still.
Fear the Walking Dead?
I like it more and more now. The Druggy Kid is
Fear the Walking Dead.
Dude, I love the Druggy Kid.
One of 2 shows, I believe it got 0 votes on the Geekbox Facebook group.
I love the Druggy Kid, man. I love the Druggy Kid. And the little sociopath that had to go be his best buddy, I was like, this is brilliant TV, man. You got the fucking guy with major issues and the other guy with major issues. I'm watching this.
I think it's like Inhumans and Fear the Walking Dead were the 2 that got 0 votes.
Whatever. I have my own opinions.
That's fine. That's fine.
I only am one.
Higgins, I have something sorry to tell you. If you're going based on popularity
got more than one
votes,
vote. Just so I got more than one vote.
Yeah, but I'll actually watch my shit and make my decisions afterwards.
If that's what you're subscribing to in the theater of life, is what I'm saying. You're on the wrong hype train.
I really wanted to watch Happy. American Gods I watched, there was too many what the fuck moments for me, but I'm really happy to hear that it's only the beginning of it and there's more coming, so I'm actually on board to watch more of that. What's it called?
We're way past 3 here. We're not in honorable mentions yet.
No. This is not honorable mentions. This is all the comic book list, so shut up, please.
Why doesn't Toby start our honorable mentions?
No, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
You've counted like 7 shows.
Doesn't matter.
Stop bracing this.
I don't care.
He means stop being so handsome.
Talking of Bryce, Runaways, I haven't made it far enough, but as a book, it's one of my all-time favorite books, and I'm proud to say I probably own the only Dustin Nguyen Runaways piece of everything. Well, how do you say it? The only Dustin Nguyen Runaways piece.
You said that wrong twice. Second
Fuck
of all, boring. How was the show? You didn't talk about the show.
I only watched 1 episode.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
He got further than you with The Gifted.
So why don't we just randomly go on about whatever shows? And Toby, I know you and Charlie watch a whole lot of normal TV.
Well, honorable mentions, number 1 goes absolutely to my sisters. Orphan Black finished up this year, and I absolutely adore the show. Will be forever in my top 5, maybe top 10, but it's forever going to be one of my all-time favorite shows. Yeah. Then my number 2 will go to Stranger Things 2, which I absolutely love also. Number 3, I am happily welcoming Doctor Who back into my life. As will say it's fucking awesome again, and that stories are good again. I'm really liking it, and it's too bad that Mr. Capaldi is off. I want to say thank you to Mr. Moffat. He wrote some of my all-time favorite episodes, and I'm also glad to see him. But
there's the door.
I'm not cold-hearted like that, because he really did write my favorite episodes of all time in almost all the seasons. So I can't be as cold-hearted as you are.
The finale the Christmas special was awesome.
It was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it was really good.
I will also say I really enjoyed Dear White People on Netflix, and I really want to see 13 Reasons Why.
What was the first one?
Dear White People.
Dear White People?
Yes.
Seconded that. That'd be on my honorable mention, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah. So
we're doing honorable mention comic and TV?
Well, honorable mentions is whatever, and this is just freeform. You can jump in
anywhere.
Well,
hold on. The official Scott Shea honorable mention list, not comic book related.
Is it a llama with pajamas?
I'll start from the bottom.
Stop stealing my joke.
Sneaky Pete. That's an Amazon show. That's an Amazon show.
It's produced by Bryan Cranston. And
Yeah. Bryan Cranston and Giovanni Ribisi, I think, are the 2 main stars. Okay, The Deuce on HBO.
I don't know that either.
Scott, I'll second that. That's a
comedy, right? No,
not at all. It's from the creator of The Wire, and it's about the porn industry in New York City in the 1970s.
That's right.
Stranger Things is his next one. After that is Silicon Valley.
I've heard such good things about that. I need to watch it.
I've seen the first 3 seasons, but I'm not current, so I can't comment.
Yeah.
And his number 2 is Mindhunter. I will also second that on
Yeah,
Netflix.
that was good too.
And his number 1, Ryan, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Game of Thrones is fantastic this last season. Haters hate it, man. But
Game of Thrones should just be in its own category.
people hated this last season of Game of Thrones.
Who?
Oh yeah. Oh, people
You
hated
spend way
this
fucking
last
too much
season.
time on the internet. Who hated Game of Thrones?
A lot of people.
Nobody. Nobody.
This last season, a lot of people did.
Nobody hated it.
Because the problem is, again...
It's because of
there's
how fast the crows fly, because I had a problem with that. But it's still my favorite TV show of all time.
This is not my problem with the show, but it's off from the books, and they're like...
That was some fucking bullshit.
Now we have to wrap up the show in a season, in like 14 episodes, so quick, just we have to travel at light speed. And
So it's still one of your top, if not your top TV show. But
for me,
does that fucking annoy you the shit out of you like it does me?
what, the crow thing?
The bunch of
magic
plot
crows,
holes that
doesn't
they've
matter.
all...
magic crow.
Doesn't matter.
That's a magic crow.
So it doesn't even bother you.
No, the crow
You
thing?
still love it just like I do, but you're
Crow
not
thing?
willing
No,
to
it's
admit
fine.
when it's...
Doesn't bother me.
All right.
I love it. I would say the thing that bothers me the most, Bryce, you could agree or disagree, is that certain beloved characters, fan-beloved characters, have grown plot armor and are just out of danger.
Yeah! What the fuck? Jaime Lannister looking at you, cheeky motherfucker. You definitely should have died riding on that dragon if Bronn isn't gonna fucking, like, dive you into a lake, and by the way, you show up at the beginning of the next episode on the other side of the lake wearing... Oh, spoiler alert for Game of Thrones last season. Sorry if you're catching up. He may or may not have died.
That's okay. You already had plenty of fun spoiling Game of Thrones during the season, so just go for it again.
No, I'm not gonna. I hate spoilers, and I will do my spoiler-free brothers and sisters proud. I wanted to
recounted an entire episode this year at the end of a podcast.
Well, that was opt-in for listening to, Charlie. They had to fucking dig their own graves.
All our podcasts are opt-in to listen to.
Anyway, Jaime Lannister should have died. That's a fact. And people running into battle and having plot armor is fucking bullshit.
That said, I still like it.
Okay.
Oh, it's
We
it's
still
incredible.
have to go
It's the
through
best.
Bryce's honorable mentions.
Oh,
now.
we're going to go through some honorable mentions here, but before we go forward, Kevin, there is no other choice.
Do we want to do this now, or should this be its own category at the very end?
No, I mean, we can do it now because we're talking
Okay,
about TV.
so I'll just say, Toby, Dear White People, I'll second. Mindhunter for Scott, I'll second that in the deuce. I also, The Exorcist on Fox is way, way, way better than it has any right to be.
I heard that was good.
Yes. Fargo Season 3, Ryan, I know you're with me on this.
No, Fargo was
Every season of Fargo is
incredible.
different than the one before it, but they're
Yeah.
all great in their own way.
So it was so funny to see. I'm blanking on the actor's name in Fargo and in Wonder Woman.
David Thewlis.
Yeah, that dude is creepy.
And was way better in one of those two pieces than in the other.
Just shave the mustache and he's fine.
Is that mustache man?
Yeah. He's the villain of Fargo.
But
season
anyway, drum roll, you were going to mention.
3. You know,
I so want to
list,
steal it right now, just to.
any list that doesn't have Twin Peaks as the best show of the year and doesn't have Episode 8 as the best TV show of potentially the millennium is wrong. There has never been anything like this, and this isn't just weird fanboy. This I remember when Episode 8 came out, people said like they're going to write books about this episode, and I still think that's true. There's never been anything
You're
like
halfway
this.
through yours, aren't you?
I wish. There's never been anything like this on TV.
This 2017, that is definitely the work of art I will think about the most from 2017. It's not my favorite,
Yeah.
but it is the most wonderful, scary, frustrating, baffling thing that I've encountered on TV in 10 years.
Yeah.
I hated it at times. I loved it more than that. And it's just unforgettable. I'm almost done with a rewatch. Amazing.
Oh, and you were complaining because we watched it on Showtime, just live on TV. But you said you watched the Showtime stream and
through Amazon. Yeah,
how bad the
it
quality
looked terrible.
was. Yeah.
So watching it on Blu-ray now is a revelation.
Yeah.
There are still narrative issues with the show, but I read somebody. I wish I could credit the critic who said, "Imagine an artist is showing you his new work of art, panel by panel, like the Sistine Chapel, just revealing a panel at a time."
Yeah.
And giving you no clue to what's coming next, how frustrating that would be. But then at the end, you would never forget that you'd been shown a work of art in that style.
Yeah, I mean, David Lynch doesn't have plot armor or plot holes or problems. Everything is exactly the way it should be. Whether you understand it or not is another problem, right? I mean, there's nothing in this show that's like not there by accident or a mistake, and it's fascinating to look at, like you said, characters like Dougie who just great on some people and who make me laugh just constantly, and I love it. And some people just hate it, but it's such a weird show.
And to bring it back to comics for a moment here, there's the old Stan Lee quote, which Stan Lee's advice to new writers was. Never give the fans what they think they want.
Yeah.
And David Lynch absolutely refused. I mean, this is, yes, it's a sequel to Twin Peaks.
In the loosest of ways.
And there are so many storylines that you say, I know he's going to address this or pay this off. And it just never happened. No hand-holding, no explaining, no babying, no help. You're being thrown in the deep end of this artist's mind and sink or swim.
And it's insane.
Yeah.
I've never laughed and cried and been terrified within a 1 hour time period the way I have in this. No movie, no TV show, no nothing. I mean, it's an 18-hour movie, basically. It's not a TV show, really. And we gushed about this in the Geek Box, me and Leanne, and at length. So, yeah. What else did you guys like for 2017? Bryce, stop playing your Marvel Puzzle Quest, and you're eating a burrito. Sorry. Continue eating. Finish. Charlie, Brock.
You go, Charlie.
I greatly enjoy The Good Place. That's a very funny show.
Yes, sorry, Charlie. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Love it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Game of Thrones has already been mentioned. I like Lethal Weapon quite a bit. The way they've done that show.
I didn't hear anything about that. I felt like it was terrible just because it's
I'm really surprised that how actually is very watchable.
Yeah.
Better than expected.
It's got
it's because,
a good formula.
Yeah, how do you replace Mel Gibson?
Right.
They actually do it. And I was like, well, this is not right. This is the feelings I have are not right, but
I experienced that a lot.
We know.
Yeah. I mean, my TiVo is filled with stuff that I'm not caught up on, but the stuff that I am caught up on, like The Good Place, I always make a priority. Lethal Weapon, I always make a priority. Obviously, as soon as the tick hits the second half of the season, I'll be watching that release day, just like I do with a lot of that stuff. So,
Toby, Charlie on something else. You're making pen noises.
Yeah.
Put those napkins under it or something. Soften the.
I finally watched Westworld this year, even though it was from
Well,
2016.
that's what I was going to
but
bring
I
up, too,
love
Westworld, because I didn't get a chance to watch
Westworld.
it. It was at the tail end of last year.
Yeah. Westworld is phenomenal.
So, I liked, again, Longmire finished up this year. I watched that. I really enjoyed that show. Mostly things like Stranger Things that people have mentioned. I got caught up with Catastrophe, which is you talked about.
So good.
And I really liked that one. But what I was really surprised about that I enjoyed was Ozarks, the Netflix show with Jason Bateman. I really enjoyed that this year. Game of Thrones.
Does it differentiate itself from Breaking Bad beyond? So I only watched the first 3 episodes of it, and it's just like a new Breaking Bad to me. Does it differentiate itself at any point going forward?
I think it's the similar feel of Breaking Bad, but it's a different take on how bad this person is, right? I mean, but I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to see another season.
Did it get renewed for season 2?
I believe so.
Netflix, man.
Yeah,
they just are fucking.
Oh,
who wants money? Who wants money?
Lemony Snicket's Series of Unfortunate Events was another one I liked.
This is a show about how things Charlie doesn't like. Let's give it $65 million. Oh, my number very high up on my list thing is Dave Chappelle's stand-up from New Year's Eve. So that's what I actually did on New Year's Eve. If you have kids, if you're a breeder, Higgins.
I know a very, very problematic according to the internet, so...
You fucking love the fucking internet, man. Your opinion is just baked in there.
I have, it's not my opinion.
Do you have any opinions that haven't been influenced by the internet?
Yeah, sure, of course. I love Dave Chappelle.
Who am I fucking talking to? Of course you do.
I I love Dave Chappelle's like the early show stuff. I think I told you I saw him live. Is awful. One of the worst things I've ever seen live. But
is that because you don't like marijuana? Because it's legal now. You can't hate it on it anymore.
No. It was just very weird. His live show was very, very strange. But yeah, no. Yeah, I know the internet had problems with it. So
was that because he was high and you weren't, and he started talking about Twin Peaks, and you were like, "What is he talking
Dave
about?"
Chappelle talking about Twin Peaks would be incredible.
Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't say that it was Dave Chappelle's best, but I definitely loved it because literally everything that he does is the funniest thing ever and better than any movies rhyming with Bustus Beeg. And other than that, Dave Chappelle, New Year's special. There was a couple moments that were eye roll worthy, but in general, it was good comedy. Okay, is it my turn? All right.
No, it's almost done.
Oh, sorry, Brock. I interrupted you. My fault. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's okay.
I'd like to officially apologize.
I finished Hell on Wheels this year. I think the last season came out like tail end last year.
Love shows about motorcycles and
Sons of
Southern
Anarchy,
people, and
If Harley Quinn was in any TV show, top 3.
Top 1. Shit.
Well, I know. I was trying to, leave
I know.
some room
isn't she
for
gonna
some
be in Gotham?
suspense.
Isn't she gonna be in Gotham?
I don't know about Gotham. I can't. After that second season opener, I can't.
Oh no, I stopped a long time
can't.
ago.
Yeah, I mean, I try and watch what I can, but we'll see.
Bryce, no specific order, just random stuff.
Yeah, for the list was too big for you to print out with your limited toner. Just kidding. So, let's see here. In the nerd category, I would have to say that my favorite things this year were Game of Thrones is number. No, I'm not going to tell you what my number 1 was.
You mean Game of Thrones was your number 1?
My number 4 thing of this year, I guess, was Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley, number 4 of all the nerdy shit that isn't comic book related that I watched, which actually is more than 4. Was great. I do feel like they're sort of sticking with the same formula, which makes it, not number 1. It does not make it bad. Number 4 is a great ranking to be. If I was gonna rank my top comic book movies, Justice League would not be in my top 4. Anyway, so my number 3 would be Westworld. Westworld was great. I'm really curious and excited.
Not this year either. So,
Pardon me?
that was not this year either.
Last year.
Justice League, the movie?
Westworld.
Last year.
Yeah, we already established this last year.
Oh,
It's-
what
it's
the fuck?
just-
I thought you guys were talking about Westworld.
Charlie and
Okay, well,
I
then
and
my-
him have watched it this year.
Who brought up Westworld?
I brought it up
Fucking
because I said I
Charlie.
finally
God,
saw
you're
it.
gonna ruin my top 4. Okay, top 3 then. So that makes it much easier. My number 3 is Silicon Valley.
Doesn't need to be in threes. Just random.
My number.
Random.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. So my number 2 is Stranger Things 2, to quote Toby. Toby. Easy to confuse them. So
No, it's not.
Stranger Things 2 was definitely my top. My second favorite stuff.
God, are you all right, Sharp?
Fucking Kevin Sharp has cider coming out his
Choking on
nose.
beer.
And my number 1 is Game of Thrones for all the things that were mentioned earlier. So get on with your bad self, Game of Thrones. I'm bummed that we have to go a year without you. In the not as nerdy, but still things that I watched and loved, Fargo I have not seen because it's not out in at one time on Netflix, which I have to wait for that, and Better Call Saul.
They put that on Netflix. Oh yeah, we didn't mention Better Call Saul.
It's
Yeah.
not,
Better Call Saul's.
They're not out yet. Once they're out in Totalitarium, which is not the word that I actually want, but it's the word that I like to say, then I will watch them all and love them all. Catastrophe. If you are a breeder, especially, or you're just if you've ever been in a relationship ever, you definitely want to watch Catastrophe because it's hilarious. And then Orphan Black, I sort of dropped off it, so I just wanted to give that an honorable mention because I'm not caught up. I dropped off when they had like the 17,000 clones of the dude on the aircraft carrier or whatever. That was several seasons ago, I guess. But
2.
all right, well, tomato.
Well, they finished the show. Like, they actually wrapped everything up.
Well, so I do want to see everything wrapped up, so I'm going to go ahead and watch it at some point in time and very much enjoy that I do because fucking Tatiana Maslany, it's been too long. I'm pretty sure that I got the right one of those tries. So she should have won more Grammys than she did. Did I say Grammy? Emmy. I meant Emmy. Yep. I corrected myself almost in time. But yeah. Orphan Black. That's good. So yeah, that's my very quick.
So you reminded me of one that I left off, which is Bosch, which is on Amazon. That one's been really, really good. I've been enjoying that.
Haven't seen that. It's prominently displayed since they got the Amazon Prime app on the Apple TV. I've been that's what allowed me to watch The Tick, because I can't stand to watch such a good but not number one TV show airplayed from my computer because it involves about 10 extra seconds of work. So anyway, yeah. So that's it.
All right. We got some movies to talk about now. Our favorite comic book movies, and
Thank
of course,
God this list is smaller.
We'll have some.
Shit.
We'll have some stuff to talk about past that. Where should we start? Should we start with Toby and go backwards this time?
To your left of Toby, or to your right of
my
Toby?
right. I'll come back around this way.
So does it mean it's me or not me?
Why don't you start, Toby?
All right, my number 3 is. Or should I go number 1 first?
3 first. This is our top comic book related movies of 2017. There's a good list for this year.
I'm gonna start it out a little differently. I'm gonna go with my non-top 3s. I'm gonna give it up to The Golden Circle, which I really
would be
enjoyed.
the honorable mentions, which we would do after we do our top 3.
I will also mention Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which I really, really, really like.
Okay, you can mention that after you give us our top 3.
No, because they're not top 3, so I
know
those first.
Hence honorable mention, which you do after.
So number 3.
Number 3, thank you.
Drum roll.
Okay.
Goes to Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that movie. It was fun. I think I liked it a little better than Guardians 2, and which it was very much like Guardians, I guess. But I think it was a little better put together, so it beats it out a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 2 and number 1 are so close together that I didn't know.
Move your mic towards your mouth, please.
It always looks like you're making weird, sexy hand gestures towards me when you're like doing this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Number 1 and number 2 are so close together, I couldn't decide which one would be number 1 or number 2, but I think number 2 will go to Logan, and number 1 will go Wonder Woman.
Okay. It's good movies.
Yeah.
We have talked about these movies at length. You're more than welcome to go back to previous episodes. But, of course, if you have
Well, that's
comments,
why I just shut up. Did you see how I did that? I was just there's no need to talk more about this.
You can be like Bryce and just keep talking about the movies that we've already talked about.
No,
so
I would like to talk about the non-movies.
Shay's turn?
We'll talk about that. Nope, it's Charlie. Scott can end it this time.
Yeah.
Charlie, you got 3 of these movies?
So, number 3 is Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 2 and number 1, though, my brain keeps flip-flopping. Right now, I think number 2 is Logan and number 1 is Wonder Woman, but I could move those back and forth constantly.
I could have a bad day and be Logan's the number 1 movie, and then there'd be a movie I'd be like, I'm fucking number 1 movie. And fucking go to the bathroom, like, the other one might be better, and then...
What happens in the bathroom?
I don't know, I took a poopy.
Okay.
No, the reason why I flip-flop those so much is because Wonder Woman, the sort of final villain battle, I just kind of went, I wish they didn't do that. In Logan, everything with the characters is so strong, I didn't even care about anything to do with the villain.
Yeah. I know some people complained about,
Some people?
Sabretooth and his, or not Sabretooth, clone Wolverine, well, almost Sabretooth. And I don't get the hate some people have for doppelganger characters. Like,
I didn't hate, I didn't like, I just, everything else about that movie and the character interactions were so strong, I really didn't care.
Yes, we see you, Bryce. We see you. Thank you.
Well, Charlie didn't. I was waiting for Charlie.
Me?
Yeah, you.
All right.
I actually stuck to my 3 movies.
I know. It's shocking. So my number 3, Logan. What a fantastic movie.
3?
Huh? Logan?
It's number 3?
Yeah. Logan is so good.
Yeah, because we all know what number 1 is for him. It's going to start a war.
The X-Men movies have gotten pretty shit in the last handful. And I don't know if Dark Phoenix or Phoenix Saga is going to get him out of it. I don't know where the hell they're going with
Gifted
these X-Men movies. Sure. But Logan was just like, this is the type of X-Men movie I want to see. Just a standalone, just raw, violent, Logan was so good. It really surprised me. My number 2 should come as very little surprise to most people. That's Wonder Woman. God, did I love Wonder Woman. What a fantastic movie. If there was any question of whether female characters can work in a box office or make money, or if they're going to flop, or will men go to see them? Like, get the argument out of your head, dude. Wonder Woman was so badass, and my favorite villain of all time. But Gal Gadot's just so good in that role, and the movie was so much fun. All her little army buddies were so good. We talked about Wonder Woman at length. So, my number 1, come on, guys. Come on. Of course it's Justice League. It doesn't have to be the greatest movie ever made. Yeah. Drink up. Justice League has its flaws. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's the most well-made movie of all time. But just like Avengers, guys, we did it. They're here.
What you're ranking here is your favorite, not the best.
Yeah, this is my favorite. This is my top 3 movies of the year. I love Justice League. We talked about this when we did our episode, but it now has my favorite scene in any superhero movie ever. And to me, that's
glance.
My number 1. Huh?
Superman glance.
It's Superman looking over a Flash. Like, that is everything I've ever wanted to see in a movie. Like, that is just... It's for the people that know the source material, it is one of those moments that just brings the house down around you. You're like, holy shit!
It sums up perfectly the first Quicksilver scene that we got, right, where he's running around, right, like that scene is fantastic.
But it's Quicksilver. This is Flash and Superman, like real characters. Okay, no, Bryce.
He is egging you. Like,
I was just looking to see Bryce's response to that.
I can't stop watching this animated Fantastic Four because the real opinions left the building when you said Justice League was the number 1.
Oh, it's the one with the
This is awful. The thing has like the Fantastic Four symbol like in his rock chest. What's even happening?
Once again, for the listeners at home, there are 2 TVs showing an animated Fantastic Four.
This is like the French Fantastic Four cartoon with.
That's all I can do when Higgins is talking about how Justice League is number 1.
Blackheart?
No. What the hell? No, that's Alicia Masters.
Yeah,
and that's what's his face? Puppet Master. Thank you. Yeah. That's Puppet Master. That's Puppet Master.
Shut the front door.
Yeah. That's Alicia Masters.
All right, let's get back to how Justice League is number 1. That's what I'm interested in.
And Justice League was just so much fun.
No, you're not.
Again, obviously, this had a flawed production. There are issues with it. I'm not stupid, people. People can't believe like Justice League. Well, you know what?
Debatable.
Oh, you just wanted me to move out of my thing because I didn't mention Justice League in my why it wasn't in the top 3.
You can be wherever you want. But I love Justice League. So we'll have more honorable mentions soon. Brock, you want to give us your top 3?
Yeah, so 3rd is Logan. 2nd is Spider-Man Homecoming. And number 1 is Wonder Woman. Straight, simple, done. Bryce?
That was fast.
That was about as sexy as anything in Justice League. So my number 3, I'm sorry, Spider-Man gets the bump. My number 3 is Thor Ragnarok. My number 2 is Logan, and my number 1 is Wonder Woman. My number 1 comic movie of the year. I can't say enough good things about. What are you showing me?
Marvel fanboys are so disappointed in you, Bryce.
Well, then let me rectify something.
I played to my base. I don't know what your problem is.
No, look, my base actually knows that I'm not a fucking hypocrite.
How am I a hypocrite?
Anyway, so Thor Ragnarok. I mean, look, all of these movies were, in fact, if I were to say that Spider-Man Homecoming was barely left off as a close number 4, I would say that all 4 of my top 4, and I think that all of you guys agree that all 4 of those movies really were not movies that people were expecting. I mean, we never had a good DC movie, and we certainly never had a good, in recent terms, as far as I can remember, female-led superhero movie. And so it was such a breath of fresh air to get that. Similarly with Logan and the grit old man Logan, and I forget what troll was saying that Hugh Jackman doesn't deserve more plaudits for his portrayal of old man Logan, but Man, I really think that he did. Spider-Man: Homecoming. I have a number of quibbles and qualms with that movie, but in general, they did a great job of rebooting the franchise, and I did not think that they would be able to successfully do it, and they proved me wrong. I'm happy to say. And Thor Ragnarok. I never thought when the first Thor movie came out that I would ever like Thor ever. I was like, no, there's no way. Before the Marvel movie universe came out, I was like, there's no way I will ever like Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Thor, and I fucking love all of them now. And like, in spite of myself, I didn't want to.
Thor.
He's just some fucking, before the movies came out, he's just some fucking idiot with a hammer who talks in these and thous, and he's not as cool as every nerd wants him to be, and I just couldn't be bothered. And
Ant-Man I kind of get, but Doctor Strange too. Doctor Strange is cool.
No, none of them have like good villains, by the way. Like, yeah.
What?
Before the movies, who has a good... Oh, Charlie just put down his Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Doctor Strange
and pulled up to the table.
Doctor Strange has some really good villains. Mephisto?
I actually think Thor has some great villains.
So, with the Doctor Strange front, I would more say that he's never had, before the movies again, he's never had any like great story arcs. So maybe that's more my point with Doctor Strange before the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With Thor, I can't be bothered glowing Goldilocks hair with the fucking hammer. That's his power. And
never had the Walt Simonson run of Thor. That sounds great.
I have not, although subsequent to the movies coming out and me being, even if possible, more handsome and wise, I have learned that there's several good runs of Thor that I just haven't read. And by the way, I fucking absolutely love, and is probably on my top picks of the year, every year that Jason Aaron's been writing it. I mean, I love Thor now, don't get me wrong, but beforehand, I couldn't have been bothered to even consider liking a Thor movie. And part of that is just being older and wiser, and part of that is maturity, and part of that is I guess them presenting me with an in-your-face, good quality production. But so Thor Ragnarok.
He's talking about Thor
Ragnarok. Anyway, I was saying
you talk about Justice League.
Anyway,
to me, especially the Thor movies was kind of interesting because I walked out of the first Thor movie and I went, okay, that's as good as they can do a Thor movie. Like Bryce, I wasn't hugely invested in Thor as a character. I had read various runs, and I liked a lot of his rogues gallery more than I like Thor. But I will say this about the first Thor: it was very rewatchable. Like, it's one of those that I would go back and I'd be like, yeah, this is a fun movie to watch again. Which I kind of had the exact opposite reaction with Captain America. Like, I absolutely loved Captain America the first time I watched it. And then when I go back to rewatch it, Captain America is the one that I kind of don't feel like watching again most of the time.
First Cap?
Yeah.
Oh, I love the first Cap.
I don't know why, but I had the exact opposite reaction where I was totally in love with it on the first one, and
on subsequent viewings, it increased its meh meter.
Yeah,
I agree, Charlie. You're right this time for once. I agree with you.
He's right more than you are.
Kevin, wait, did we get your number? Yeah, we got number one. Kevin, you and
So
Scott.
I just wanted to say that all comic book movies in my top 4 were great movies.
Well, there's not going to be a lot of variety on these lists.
That's all right.
So, because
Valerian and the city of...
that would be an honorable mention. But just because you can listen to in-depth discussions of these, I'll just be brief. Number 3 would be Spider-Man Homecoming. And although I'm not a fan of turning Spider-Man into Iron Man Jr. with the high-tech costume, the lead actor, and especially Ryan, how could we ever have dreamed the Vulture would be so great in a movie?
Second best Marvel villain.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
That is my biggest
He's
fear.
the top villain of the year.
That is my biggest fear for Infinity War. Because you see Spider-Man in that, like, Iron Man armor in it, and I'm like, oh, God, get out of here with that shit.
Yep.
Sorry, Bryce.
Yep.
Is that in the trailer?
Yeah.
Yes. Spoiler level 1.
2 would be Logan, and although I've never liked Wolverine outside of the X-Men, I just don't think he works as well as a solo character. This was just a great, like a Western that happened to have Wolverine in it.
Yep.
And number 1 is by 100 miles Wonder Woman. I mean,
Justice League.
as I went on and on and on about on that episode, I love Wonder Woman the same way I love the Chris Reeves Superman movie.
Yep.
It's not a great movie. It's a very good, entertaining movie that is elevated by a great, great lead
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we get it, Bryce. The mustache, we get it.
And in a
We
way,
understand.
that's also what elevates the Supergirl show for me.
Mm-hmm.
She is so good and so charming that it raises the whole production
Yep.
just that much more.
Literally nobody listening gets it, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, what's-
drew
what's,
him up from
The official Scott Shea, number 3. Now, this is superhero movies he's
Yeah.
specified.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, number 3. Oh, get raised for some variety. Number 3 is a tie between Thor Ragnarok and Logan.
Okay.
Number 2 is Wonder Woman. I'm assuming I'm going in reverse order, Scott. Sorry if I'm reversing this. And number 1 for him is Spider-Man Homecoming.
There you go. Yeah, he's a big Spider-Man fan. So, and I get Spider-Man: Homecoming was my number 1 honorable mention. I've never been the biggest Spider-Man fan, but I like Spider-Man, right? And they just have not done him justice in the movies. So my interest in Homecoming was minimal at best when it came out. But yeah, no, blown away by it. Really, really enjoyed it. It's funny. Hold on. Before I get to any of this, I actually got to read our groups, the Facebook group.
Well, we're going to finish
Top
honorable
3.
mentions first.
Well, let me do. I would do the shows because we're going to talk about both. We want to talk about the polls that we ran through the Facebook group for the TV shows. The top 3 shows. One was a clear winner. Punisher was the number 1. Had
number 1
tons
with
of
a
votes.
bullet.
Yeah, and then Flash, and then Legion was number 3. So, Defenders and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually up there. And S.H.I.E.L.D. no love in this podcast. American Gods is also on this list, but not a comic book podcast. Not a comic book show. Sorry, guys. Supergirl pretty low. I mean, a lot of us had Supergirl on our top list. Yeah, Fear the Walking Dead and the Inhumans. The only two with no.
Was there any love
And
for
me.
Preacher?
Okay.
I didn't hear anybody on the table mention it.
It's there. It's between Gifted and Arrow.
I liked season 2 of Preacher, but it wasn't my favorite.
Preacher's into season 2.
Yeah.
What channel's that on?
AMC.
Yeah. And for the TV show, for the movies, Wonder Woman number 1, Logan number 2, and Spider-Man: Homecoming number 3. So that was voted on by our lovely listeners or viewers of the poll, and we got a lot of votes on the movie ones. So yeah, Wonder Woman and Logan clear winners. Spider-Man: Homecoming is like kind of right in the middle. Thor and Justice League are pretty close together after that. And
Who's first?
who's first? What?
Thor or Justice League?
Thor. Yeah, Thor, then Justice League, then Guardians.
That's like an ironic.
Batman v Superman makes the top 10. So
Is it out of 10?
no,
Does any of them?
Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets is right below it. So
Was Batman v Superman this year?
no.
I mean, 2017?
no.
Okay.
it's
I'm
a joke.
Okay.
I mean, it's on the list, but
Hilarious
it's a joke.
joke. Said
Yeah, it's
nobody.
a joke. So,
I just checked his Rotten Tomato score. It's like 20.
yeah, our lists are I think what a lot of people kind of expected. There wasn't I don't get to see too many non-comic book things because I watch so much of this nerd shit. But there were we talked about one thing that I did see early in the year. Your Name, Makoto Shinkai, Motoko Shinkai. Do I have that right? Is it Makoto Shinkai? I'm blanking on people's names. This is terrible. Yeah, Makoto Shinkai. Just technically released in 2016, but released in America in 2017. So I'll count it. It's anime. It's one of the best anime I've ever seen.
And I had to wait a very long time for it to come out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, it came out like in the summer, right?
No, it came out in like November.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
Is it on iTunes for rent?
Yeah, I haven't picked it up yet.
I haven't looked.
Does anybody know?
I just bought the Blu-ray.
None of you
I
know.
pre-ordered the
Only
Blu-ray.
2 of you have seen it. Kevin's like the movie expert and doesn't know.
What do you mean?
Oh,
I went to watch it in the theaters that night when Ryan
Yeah.
mentioned it.
Yeah.
I left here.
watch it where?
at Mountain View.
Okay, wow. Is it good, Toby?
Yeah, I fucking loved it, but fucking because I watched too much Doctor Who, like quarter in, I'm like, I fucking know what's happening. I know what's happening.
All right, well, what's the best thing about it, Toby?
The peoples.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
The two movies.
You don't like it?
I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. I really want to see it. That's what I'm asking all of you. Like, nobody knows if it's available on iTunes.
Because
I want to rent it, but I'm not going to buy the Blu-ray without seeing it sight unseen. I'm a
physical buyer.
But Higgins also is suspect. He put Justice League as his number one movie.
Well, they're gonna make a movie
action
version out of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have white actors in it.
Yeah. So briefly, I wanted to mention Baby Driver because Edgar Wright.
Oh my God!
I really like that. That was really good.
What do you mean?
So good.
Briefly mention. I like to remind everybody. I was so fucking excited for this movie, right? I mean, just like the trailer dropped, I'm like, this is gonna be the best movie of all time.
Wow!
And then you know what Ryan said? Oh, it's another one of Toby's dumb car movies. That's a quote. That's a quote.
I love
Don't
it.
fucking even take that back. That's a quote from Ryan Higgins.
I love Edgar Wright, but this did not look like an Edgar Wright movie. So I was like, this looks way different. But I thought it was really good. But the two movies I really want.
Just another dumb Toby car movie, right?
But no. The two movies this year I really want to talk about. Again, for honorable mentions. One, I'm very glad I got to see this. Finally got to see Get Out, the Jordan Peele movie. Oh. If that doesn't win every award,
I know every fucking person is talking about it. I haven't watched it yet. I'm actually
so good.
I'm surprisingly the guy that doesn't like horror movies. So I have bought it. It's physically there. I actually even scared of touching the physical disc.
It's not a horror movie.
I'm also scared of touching physical discs.
It's not a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie.
Can I watch it?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
There's a few movies I own. I'm actually scared of even touching it.
No, it's not a horror movie. There is one thing that you will say at the end of this movie, and it's something you say a lot, and you'll definitely say it at the end of this movie, is fucking white people, man.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
I say that every time I wake up and look at myself in the mirror.
In the words of Homer Simpson, we're so lame.
Yeah. But the number...
But he's a yellow guy.
Between Get Out... And the other one is Dunkirk, the Chris Nolan movie.
Oh my God! Also, great call.
That is a movie that I am sad that no one will probably ever see that in a movie theater again.
Why? They can release it. Fuck off.
There were some reviews for that movie that were like, I guess it's just okay. Like, I didn't get...
Is this you on the internet again? This is you on the internet again,
isn't it?
There's some
mixed reviews.
This is your internet opinion.
I'm on your favorite website, Rotten Tomatoes. There was some mixed reviews.
Why do you go on his favorite website? It's the worst website of all time.
I do love Rotten Tomatoes, but I also
really
love how Higgins goes on Rotten Tomatoes just to throw shade at me, but he goes on it every time.
There was some reviews of Dunkirk that I did not understand where they were coming from. I thought that movie was just incredible top to bottom, and I actually didn't catch how the movie was laid out at first because it's not very traditional. It's multiple storylines through different kind of sets of time, and
so this is how it works.
It took a minute for me to realize what was going on.
That's why you couldn't figure out your name either.
But it's fascinating movie. Fascinating movie.
Okay, I was going to spoil Kevin Sharp. Thank you for putting me on blast. Go watch Dunkirk. It is very non-traditionally laid out.
Yeah.
Formatically, he said with a question mark. Is that the right word? Nobody knows, but I do know that
that's kind of the extent of my. That's kind of the extent.
Go watch Dunkirk. It was really well done, and in the first 5 or 10 minutes, you're probably going to be like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, it took me a minute, but
by the end of the movie, you totally get it, and you. I don't know if I would say you want to watch it again, but you definitely appreciate what just happened so much. So, Dunkirk and Baby Driver. Thank you, Ryan Higgins, for brightening my night.
See, I like good stuff.
Is what I said on Friday night.
I got movies I want to watch. They might not be the best, but I want to watch them.
Oh, my list of want to watch is huge. I just haven't. But this was the year where I was like, I didn't see Pirates. I didn't see Aliens. I didn't see Transformers. I didn't see Valerian. I didn't see all these movies that I would have normally gone and seen.
Did you watch Blade Runner?
I didn't. Well, that's different. I really want to see Blade Runner. I heard it's phenomenal. But a lot of movies where it's like, yeah, it's garbage, I'll go see it, whatever. I just, whether it was just a lack of time or the interest was so low that these movies are was Transformers in the theater for even a month? I felt that came and went so fast. Any other year.
That's what she said.
Other year, Transformers is $1 billion movie, and this year it just died.
Yeah,
so
wait till Transformers 6 comes out next year and nobody eating your words.
Well, that one. So, on Transformers, I like every other one.
Yeah.
So, in theory, I should have loved this one, but I never went to watch it. And then I finally watched it on disc. I'm like, wait, it actually goes into... I didn't hate it. Yeah. Because I absolutely
2 and
hate
4.
every second one. Like I hate the second one, I hated the fourth one, and this one I'm like, I don't like it. So the next one I will not watch. I will not watch at all.
The Bumblebee one.
Unless you want a good nap, then you'll go watch it in theater.
Yeah.
That's any movie.
I do have a movie pass now.
That's what I was going for.
Well, let's see. Off the Dunkirk. Speaking as somebody who goes to the theater about 3 or 4 times a month, I would
you
say
should do movie pass.
I do.
Oh, okay.
I would say when you recommend Dunkirk, you kind of put an asterisk on the end of see it in a theater.
IMAX, yeah.
And the problem is most people are not going to have that opportunity.
But that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I meant.
I saw it on a big HD screen.
Oh, okay, and it worked for you?
And I'm sure that it would have been better in theater, but I was on the edge of my seat. My wife falls asleep in every movie we've ever seen. She did not fall asleep in this movie. She's like, she's fucking lightweight Toby. She's falling asleep over.
It's so tense.
It's so tense,
and the music is just like that beat in the background that just goes through the whole movie.
It's like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
And you're just waiting for it to go off the whole movie, and it's, by the way, going off almost the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's so.
To repeat earlier before we started recording, Valerian is the most amazing visual feast your eyes will have.
Just
to serve us a story written by a 12-year-old.
No, I thought you said a group of
12-year-olds trying to top each other.
Over,
yes.
Telling, and this, and then this, and this. So, Kumani challenge.
Wonder Woman was the most enjoyable time I've had at a movie this year, just for sheer enjoyment of sitting in the theater. The best movie I saw would probably be Lady Bird, which I know is on a lot of critics' top list. And now we've far, far left the geek realm behind when we get into these and this. And then there's a movie. I'm going to count this as a movie. It's a documentary series on Netflix called 5 Came Back, which is about these 5 classic era Hollywood directors who went off in World War II to film combat in World War II and then came back from World War II. And their experiences of filming like actual combat fed into the movies that they made afterwards. It's a 3-part. It's just a long documentary broken up in 3 parts. It's called 5 Came Back.
It's not Ken Burns, right?
No, it's not Ken Burns. And was just brilliant, I thought.
Cool.
Oh, wait. Scott's list. Hold on. The official Scott Shea honorable mention. I feel like we should be some music for each time I read this just to make it special.
See, Scott travels a lot, so he's got a lot of TV time when he's at the hotels and whatever. So he sees a lot
his
of
movies are Free Fire.
I don't know that one.
Okay, that's... Scott, that's a group of people. It's kind of like Reservoir Dogs. It's a group of criminals in a warehouse. Okay. It's got Brie Larson in it. It's probably the biggest star.
Who doesn't love a good Larson? Do you give it the sharp bump? I've never heard of this, but I love Reservoir Dogs.
I enjoyed it. I wouldn't call it out, but I enjoyed it. It's literally an hour and a half of gunfire. It's a comedy. It's like a Looney Tunes where if everybody had a gun. Okay, he also
Looney Tunes.
Doesn't everyone have a gun?
He also calls out The Disaster Artist.
Yeah,
solid choice.
See, my fear for that is I just don't want anything to ever do with The Room. So, should you even watch it if I just don't even?
Oh, is that the one with Franco? Oh, I hella want to watch that.
You don't need to have seen The Room or ever watched The Room to appreciate this.
Okay.
If you've seen Ed Wood, which I assume you have,
I love Ed Wood.
I love Ed Wood.
Yeah.
This is that same kind of template.
Okay.
You don't need to have seen Plan 9 from Outer Space to enjoy Ed Wood.
Okay.
I really want to watch.
Okay, his next is Logan Lucky, which nobody's mentioned on here.
I heard good things about that.
Daniel Craig, Channing Tatum. Enjoyable. It's a fun little southern, like a very, very kind of redneck
Brock's
heist
favorite.
comedy.
Poor man's Ocean 11.
Yeah, it's poor man. That's what they've called it.
Yeah,
is the poor man's Ocean.
Yeah, and it's poor men in the movie, so it's And then finally,
the southern part just automatically turns Higgins off.
Finally, is Baby Driver.
Yeah,
which to me had a fantastic opening 10 minutes and never reached that height again.
I just like.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, the opening 10 minutes was an A+, and the rest of the movie was fun.
I sadly agree.
That's the end of Scott's list.
Anyone else jump in? Toby?
There's just been a lot of movies mentioned that I still haven't got around to watching.
I really like the artistry of Baby Driver, but no need to talk about it too much more since we already brought it up a couple of times, and I'm still holding up on you for hating me for loving the fucking trailer.
None of that literally never happened.
What? That so happened.
I didn't
That's
hate
what happened.
you for loving the trailer.
Oh no, you totally said it was another one of my dumb car movies. You
Well,
absolutely said that.
That's not me hating it.
You absolutely. I will say. I absolutely loved War of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, that's another one that I didn't get to see. Yeah.
I mean, I loved the first one.
Yeah.
And then the second one I was like, eh. And then I thought, yeah, maybe I'm done. And I forgot. I think it was maybe friends that dragged me into, and I was not even gonna watch it. And I'm like, fuck, I'm blown away by it. I really this made me having to buy the number 2 because I need all of them in my collection because I was done buying these fucking movies.
That's another one I felt came and went really fast. Like it did, like
so good.
Like there was a lot of hype behind the first 2, but this one I felt like just.
Well, this one too is the guy is about to do the Batman movie. So if you want a little preview, man, watch War of the Planet of the Apes because it's fucking
Bryce
cool.
seems to disagree here.
No, I just think that so I don't know how long any of these were in the theater, but I think that all movies are in the theater for 4 weeks, give or take. And
other than movies like Wonder Woman, who have legs, 90% of movies
has
now
legs.
Yeah.
come and go very quickly.
that was
No.
a Brock joke. And
No. But I feel like the other planet. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this one did do more than the others.
Spoiler alert, you're wrong.
But a lot of times these movies will do better and better as they go on, and I feel like this one just sort of
No, I think that an average
crapped out. I don't know.
good movie like this will be in the theater for 4 weeks, and that you will know about it for 2.5 weeks. It'll sort of languish for the 3rd week, and then it'll be barely there the 4th week. And that's unless it's some sort of word of mouth, stealth hit. But I think that a lot of these movies that you are saying you didn't see in the theater for more than 1 week or 2 were probably there, and you just weren't paying attention because you're watching Supergirl.
War. I really liked. Another movie I will mention is John Wick 2. Fun.
How was that? I want to watch that. I loved the number 1 or the first one.
If you
really
love
good.
number 1, you can love number 2.
That's
It's as easy as that. It's a good old John Wick number 2.
Oh, I love Keanu. He also can't grow a beard, just like me.
Yeah. War for the Planet of the Apes was at least in the U.S. the lowest grossing of the 3. So
Yeah, but it's the fucking best one.
Well, that's what I mean.
The first one is really good.
That's what I mean.
Though.
I feel like these movies all vastly underperformed this year, and I wonder what caused it because like these have been like box office like guarantees in the past.
Yeah.
Wonder if there was another juggernaut that came in or came out
It
shortly
was
after.
called Justice League of America.
Well, the superhero
no,
movie,
but-
the highest grossing movies of the year besides Star Wars and Beauty and the Beast were all the superhero movies. So
Yeah.
you're not wrong. It is the superhero stuff taking away from everything else. Speaking of which, we can talk about Star Wars in a little bit here, but you can finish up. Beauty and the Beast, too. What a fantastic version of that movie. I love it. Oh, I really liked it.
Yeah, I bet you did. It was good. I mean, what a fantastic.
I would have watched a few more movies this last break, but again, I was preoccupied with something else. But I really wanted to see The Last Showman. I'm still really excited about
really
that
want
movie.
to see that one
The
too.
Greatest Showman?
Oh, The Greatest Showman. Okay, The Greatest Showman.
I didn't know if this was that movie's sequel, The Last Showman. I was like, wow, that escalated
He's
quickly.
still the showman. No, I was very excited for it to come out. I just haven't got around to watching it yet. I actually, on the other side, I'm really looking forward to watching Jumanji also. So I will leave it at
God.
that. Fuck, dude, it looks funny.
Jumanji?
It looks
Jumanji
fun.
looks hilarious.
Yeah, it looks hella fun.
I heard really good things about it.
Yeah, I really want to watch that one too. And I would like with the movie pass this break, I was going to watch a shitload of movies, so it just didn't happen that way. But yeah, Charles, Charles.
I'm really excited to see the Gary Oldman, Winston Churchill movie.
Oh,
I haven't seen it.
Is that good?
But I fucking love.
Oh, you?
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh,
It seems like it'd be a good double feature with Dunkirk.
Probably. So I fucking love Gary Oldman and everything that he's in, and Winston Churchill I could take or leave, but I loved There Will Be Blood, in spite of me finding it a tedious movie because of the performance.
True Romance.
What? Christian Slater's a great guy? What?
Oh, Gary Oldman. True Romance.
Was he in True... Am I thinking of the wrong movie? What's the Christian Slater movie, True Romance?
Yeah, Gary Oldman's in.
He is?
Yeah,
Toby, deep cut. What the fuck? Is he the villain?
Yeah, he's the pimp.
he's fucking he's phenomenal in that one.
Gary Oldman is phenomenal in everything he's ever been in. I did not remember that he was the villain in True Romance. That is a fucking deep cut. I think that I was prepubescent at that point in time when that came out. Spoiler alert. Yeah, anyway, Gary Oldman. I do want to watch that movie, though.
Now,
You just reminded me though that I forgot Mr. Robot in my TV list.
Is that still
honorable
good?
mentions.
Yeah. Can I?
Okay.
So
because
I-
the first season was a work of
Oh
art.
my god, a
Oh,
work
yeah.
of art.
Yeah.
A work of art. Second season I started, I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes and I was like, okay, I'm gonna slog through this kinda like
Really?
a bunch of other shows.
Did you not make the slog, though?
No, I didn't because fucking
Obviously
Charlie.
not,
Do you
because
know what it's
Charlie
like-
knows something you don't,
do you-
obviously.
Do you know what it's like to have kids, Charlie?
Yes, I
he
have 3
has.
of them.
Do you know what it's like to be married, Charlie?
Yes.
Do you know what
I'm
it's
He
married.
has 3 of them.
Do you know?
Wait a second.
Do you know what
That's news to
Do you
me.
know what it's like to love cable, Charlie?
Yes, I know what it's like to
God
love
damn
cable.
it, Charlie! Stop mitigating my points.
Well,
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it.
we did do, me and Ryan Scott did our big, long, 2-hour-long talk about Star Wars The Last Jedi. We're not going to do that here. But I think we did want to talk about Star Wars briefly. Is just I don't think this ended up on any of our on our honorable mentions for 2017. So I guess since this is a fairly newer movie, we'll say Star Wars spoilers going forward. So you may want to skip ahead or not listen if you don't want to hear us talk about this. But
We're gonna do Star Wars on this episode.
we'll talk about it, for a little bit. Yeah, just for a few minutes.
That's not going to work, Ryan.
Why wouldn't you do this? All right.
No, I mean because we got some time. We got some time, a little bit of time.
All right.
Well, we don't have no questions?
A brief amount of time.
I didn't do questions. But I mean, I think we're gonna have to split up the table here. Maybe get to sit on different sides of the table or
Why?
something. Toby can sit in the middle because
Because I haven't fucking seen the movie, bitch.
he's Norway.
Higgins.
He's Sweden.
I was
That's
gonna say,
the word I
did
meant.
you fucking say Norway?
Sweden, close enough.
You still got it wrong, asshole.
By the way, you
Switzerland?
know what's great
Yeah.
is
all
Axis
the
and
same.
Allies. If you guys played
It's
Axis
not
and
the
Allies,
same.
Axis and Allies, Norway is definitely on the Axis side.
I don't actually
it's
know what
not Sweden.
I don't actually know what Charlie thought of
Or
Star
Switzerland.
Wars. I know what Brock thinks.
Wait, Higgins.
That was
of all
set up.
things that I'm going to
Yeah.
jump across the table and throttle you over, you're going to choose Star Wars to have Toby be the fucking buffer and not like.
Well, man,
No, he hasn't seen it. That's why he's in the middle. He's
Why?
fell asleep during it
I'm
like
curious
5
as to
times.
your
I've seen-
reason
I've
for having
seen-
a buffer when like we have this
I've seen-
love relationship over.
I've seen
comic
bits.
book
I've
movies.
seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah, but you're much more well rested than those of us with children. Charlie, wife, Charlie,
Yeah.
love of cable, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm basically Charlie.
Minus one child in your love of cable.
Or as much sleep, or liking as many things.
So while people may think
Or
that
behind on 15 TV shows this season, apparently.
Well, Charlie, let's just say that I watch different TV shows.
while people think
Charlie is like, I watched those also.
me and Bryce are just always on the opposite sides of stuff, or that
No.
me and Brock have the same opinions on a lot of stuff. Star Wars is something where you could definitely say that's not true because
What, really?
me and Bryce fall very much on one side, and Brock at least falls very much on the other side. I don't
Not
don't know about
anything I
Charlie.
remember from the movie did not make any fucking sense.
I tried to physically kiss Mr. Higgins, and he rebuffed me.
Yeah,
And you fell asleep?
I blacked out.
Oh, okay.
You forgot Lane was here?
I did.
For the listeners at home, there was just a laugh emerge from the corner of the store where nobody even knew there was a person.
This is how I watch the movie. This is how I watch the movie. I'll tell you my fucking summary of the movie. I fucking go in with Lane back there. I'm like, all right, I'll watch the fucking Star Wars. And then fucking credits, fucking Star Wars fucking reading shit. I'm like, all right, I'm in. Nothing. and then fucking Yoda puppet. All right, Yoda puppet is back. Fucking nothing. And then fucking crazy purple haired chick. I had no idea who this is. Could be Leia. I couldn't.
What is
nothing.
happening?
Nothing. And then Leia is flying through the air like Superman. Nothing. Right.
Did you go back in time?
And then fucking Luke Skywalker come fights people, and there's fucking penguins everywhere. Nothing. Right, and then Luke Skywalker was not even there to begin with for some reason, and nothing. And then there's some Asian bitch yelling around or something. And,
You basically saw the movie.
yeah, and then nothing.
That's basically my review.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just picturing Toby going there to like the first showing of the day and waking up to subsequent
That's what I'm
showings.
saying. His fucking continuity was all over the place.
Lane, did you leave him at the theater and he woke up the next day?
Lane caught an Uber home. I'm sure Toby won't fall asleep when he's driving
Poked him
home
a couple
himself.
times. He's done. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, after the gushing reviews I think we had for Force Awakens, and at least I know I did for Rogue One,
Oh yeah, and I woke up during fucking Rey's being nobody. I'm like, what the fuck? Nothing. Yeah.
Just what an odd, poorly made movie. It's not that I hate Star Wars. It's not that I hate the characters. I know, Bryce, I know you weren't a fan of Rose. It just, so much of it just, it doesn't click. It doesn't work. The plot's kind of all over the place. It's very nonsensical. Things just don't work if you think about it for half a second.
I will tell you this. All the new characters they introduced in Force Awakens, I loved. Like, absolutely loved.
Yeah.
All the new characters they introduced in this movie, I fucking despise. All of them. Like, Benicio del Toro? What the fuck is he doing?
Nothing.
Should be Lando.
Just, yeah, Del Toro, just such a waste of a great character, of a great actor, I mean.
Yeah.
I
You should see him opening Christmas presents. He's much better there.
The plot just goes nowhere
Who
in
doesn't
this
love
movie, and a simple conversation between Poe and Holdo, is that her name? Laura Dern, which solved the entire movie in a second. They can't go to hyperspace because they're out of fuel, so they're going to take this other ship and go to hyperspace.
They have fuel?
Find a way to get back so they can go to hyperspace.
They use fuel in the future, in the far, far distance,
That's
far away?
Big part of this movie, yeah.
Okay.
Like, it's still awesome at points.
Like gasoline?
How
like
are you
some-
fucking asking questions when, like, your own review was, like, the most mismatched shit I've ever
I
seen?
told you up front, I didn't
And I've
see
seen a
half
lot
the
of
movie.
mishmash shit.
I didn't see half the movie.
I know, but you're asking for clarification questions on
Yeah.
your end podcast.
You just actually lowered my opinion even lower than it already was, which is interesting.
Charlie
Now
doesn't
I'm-
like
now
it?
I'm having fun
Charlie
going
still liked it, yeah.
because
It was
now
only
I'm
9
just
out of 10.
going. A lot of the plot
it's not even
like-
like Justice League for you.
Battlestar Galactica, basically, with the Cylons chasing them, and yeah,
Oh, hated that scene.
no. So I saw it twice. I saw it twice in the theater, once in 2D, once in 3D.
How was the sticky floors and air conditioning okay?
No, the second theater I saw it in had the nice reclining chairs and everything.
Never do those.
He falls asleep.
I have.
I want the. I need the sticky floor.
Eyes peeled open and like.
Clockwork Orange.
Ooh, I love that movie.
There
That's
are
a
just
fantastic
key
movie.
things about this movie that I can't accept,
Yes.
and they're fundamental things I can't accept. So
Is it because they fucked with the Force?
even that doesn't bother. The whole idea of the Force and some balance in the Force and that kind of stuff, I liked. Everything they did with Luke, not a fan of.
Yeah, me
A
neither.
lot of what they did with the way the universe has evolved since Return of the Jedi, I've decided I'm not a fan of, especially when you put it in context with this movie. The fact that there's huge open questions about Snoke still, where like they
Him dying like a bitch.
had him show up in the first movie. It was like, who the fuck is that? We don't get any of those answers. And then he dies like a bitch. And you're just kind of going, okay, well, I hope they choose to answer that even though he won't be alive in the next movie.
Well, no, you can get cut in half and come back in Star Wars.
More powerful than you'll ever imagine. Oh, wait, that's only...
I think you have to fall down a shaft and not be seen. Like,
I feel like all the magic
But-
they built up in Force was gone in this one.
yeah. No, there was... I definitely enjoyed The Force Awakens. Like, there wasn't anything that rang untrue to me. Like, I understood a lot of the feedback about certain things were repeats from, but that didn't bother me because it hit all the right notes. I felt like Han was acting like Han. The fact that he had sort of stepped back to smuggling made sense to me within sort of the context of how that had evolved. Everything with the Luke in this movie didn't make sense to me. And when I kind of start putting that in context, especially knowing that Carrie Fisher passed away shortly after filming this movie, it really started to bother me, just the idea of the way things got left in that original trilogy was kind of with this sense of hope. They had actually accomplished something. And now I don't feel like they've accomplished anything.
Charlie, I want to blow a horn and pop some confetti in the air right now, because that is my number one complaint. Forget The Last Jedi for a moment. The Empire Strikes Back only works if you take away the happy ending of Star Wars. The Force Awakens only works if you take away the happy ending of Return of the Jedi. I'm tired of this bullshit. Oh, I've crossed over, Bryce.
My man.
Like, the only template that they have for Star Wars is the good guys outgunned, outmanned, on the run from a more powerful bad force. And so
We are outgunned.
Yeah, but every time the story reaches a natural conclusion, the only way that they continue it is to undo that conclusion. They won. They won at the end of Star Wars, and they were worse off at the beginning of Empire. They won at the end of Jedi, and the universe is worse off at the Force Awakens. And so you're always going to have this kind of off balance, this off kilter storytelling, because you're constantly going back and cementing over what you've established before.
Well, I don't have a problem with them being, the winners for 30 years and then the First Order coming in and fucking everything up. I don't mind the world they set up in Force Awakens. I don't like the complete 180 they pull on almost every character in Last Jedi. So that's more my problem. I don't have a problem with them stepping back into power.
The Force Awakens kind of set up the First Order like they weren't in control.
Right.
Yet. This movie, there was no period of time between Force Awakens and this movie.
No, it goes immediately
it's just
into the
all
movie.
Of a sudden, the
Doesn't make sense.
resistance is completely outgunned. The First Order's got a massive, and
it happened in a minute. Literally 1 minute's time, everything shifted, and you're like, wait, what? When did this happen? Where did you get that dreadnought?
Yeah.
Like, when did you get these army of
to go along with the planet killer they had in The Force Awakens. They are the big guns in The Force Awakens, even, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, but again, the storytelling is just out of balance for me in both of these movies.
And there's so much about the way they use Luke that I disconnect from so much just because it bothers the crap out. Like, I can write better explanations of why Luke is there and sort of distance himself from the Resistance. None of those involve, I'm just coming here to die and I give up and I'm just going to let the universe be fucked.
One of the things I said in the Geek Box was, I don't have a problem with any of the specific, overall plots, the very loose overall plot of this movie, but the specifics of everything is poor. The specific ways they go about stuff, how they get to where they go, what they're doing, who interacts with who, the characters, none of them work. So it's like it kind of gets there okay, but it doesn't. Nothing gels within the course of the movie, and I don't understand why a lot of the characters do the things they do. It seems like this doesn't seem like it's problems with the characters. It just seems like a poorly made movie that has just disconnected scenes with little motivation, on any end. I've seen people on both sides trying to attack and defend the casino stuff. And to me, that is as bad as anything in the prequels. But I don't hate Rose and Finn. I don't hate their relationship. But it could have, I don't hate the thought of it. I don't hate how it worked. But the actual story around them was dumb. But I don't hate her. So it's such a weird movie.
You hate the outcome of what that brought.
I hate how it all happened. And yeah. I don't, we talked at length about, Rose sacrificing herself or trying to sacrifice herself to save Finn, who was going to save everyone. It's like, what a nonsensical, that doesn't make any sense.
I'll ask the whole table the question I asked Ryan and Brock. Charlie, weigh in, please.
Charlie, put down Puzzle Quest.
You can see
Never.
You can see Episode 9, or you can see the Han Solo standalone movie, but you can never see the other one. Which would you pick?
At this point, it would be Episode 9 because
it's got to be. Abrams is coming back. Sorry, my name's Charlie.
We have to see how it's the one that matters, right?
It's the one that still has the chance to answer some of the questions I've been waiting to be answered since The Force Awakens.
Do you think Abrams is somewhere sitting over and go, what the fuck did you do to my franchise?
Well, they had to okay this stuff. I don't believe for a second that they didn't okay what we saw on the screen. Now, mind you, that being said, I don't know how much of it they've decided is how they're going to leave things. Because I kind of felt like most of what happened, they can still answer certain things. They could still undo certain things. There's still a lot of flexibility that they have in where they go from here.
Would your answer have been different?
No. Better Call Saul is the only prequel that I like. So I have zero interest in that Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
And I mean zero. But this is commenting without having seen any footage, any trailer, anything.
No one
Got the
has.
mother of
Right,
dragons
yeah.
in it.
I know, Toby, I know. But,
The mother of dragons.
but this
dragons
is kind
in
of,
Star Wars.
when people are
She's
criticizing...
going to bring them with her.
When people are criticizing The Last Jedi, it's kind of like you're in the middle of a comic series and you really disliked an issue. Well, do you just walk away? Or do you say, I have to read the rest of the series to see how it ends?
Well,
Master dress.
so here's my concern to a degree. The Straczynski run of Spider-Man. I loved when it started.
Straczynski runs of everything.
I was completely sold when they got to
Brilliant
the other and that kind of... I made sure I finished that run. But Sins Past in it made it so I have a really hard time going back to read that run again. Like, I have my hardcovers, they're sitting on the bookshelf, and every time I look at them, I'm like, yeah, but Sins Past pissed me off so much. I don't want to... Like, it's funny. I could just sit down and reread it all and just ignore Sins Past, but that's not where
like
my
the
brain
prequels?
goes. The prequels, for me, are not good movies, and there's certain things that drove me crazy in the narrative of those movies.
Which prequels?
The Star Wars prequels.
Fuck have we been talking about? Are you kidding? Did you fall
Rogue One
asleep?
or
blacked
episodes
No,
1
no.
through 3?
1, 2, 3.
No.
1, 2, 3 or
Nothing
Rogue
else
One?
but 1, 2,
1,
3
2,
are
3.
considered the
1, 2, 3 are the
prequels.
prequels.
Why wouldn't Rogue One be a prequel?
Nobody refers to
Nobody
Rogue One as
a prequel.
the prequels.
All right.
Because it's
Wait, who's
the
right,
original trilogy,
I said,
the prequel
all right, I didn't say
trilogy.
who's right.
Any event, my issues with those movies really kind of have that sort of foundation in the Anakin Amidala relationship. I don't like the way that they made that progress. But the overall narrative of those movies made sense behind the whole Rise of the Empire and everything else. Like,
Well, I
they
think
have their flaws, but yes, I've rewatched them multiple times
Well, I
because
think-
they don't ruin Star Wars for me at all.
Jar Jar Binks does a really good job.
I don't
doing it.
know yet. I need to see what they do in the next movie. I need to see if they come up with something in the narrative that fixes it for me. Because, like, right now, I get upset every time I talk about it.
So,
then my question would be, would you be excited to see episode 9?
Will you buy
I would be
episode 8 on
apprehensive to
DVD?
see episode 9.
No, this is totally hyperbolic. Episode 9 is going to be directed by...
I think I'm the only one that liked this movie.
J.J. Abrams and...
Yeah, Abrams again. And what I want to clarify, or at least from my opinion, and I don't know if you're just sort of getting carried away with your own hype train. There's a lot of trains tonight by my own volition. Is that this movie wasn't as bad as maybe we're making it out to be. It's just it wasn't as good as we all expected it or wanted it to be.
There were fundamental story problems that pissed me off.
Sure, and me as well. But
And
like
I can overlook a lot.
really, Charlie, you?
Yeah, I know.
You? But you're so critical on everything.
And the fact that they had significant story issues.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Did you not get that I was sarcastic just then?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
you did.
But I'm still going to keep talking.
Well, now I think you're being sarcastic. Well played.
So
Well
I'm the
played,
only
Mr.
person that
Lewis.
liked this, I guess.
Well, I mean, what did you like about it?
Well, I'm also coming from reading most of the canon stuff
Just most
that's
of the
been
books
coming
and
out,
everything.
books and stuff like that. So stuff that you have difficulty with, like, well, what's the First Order? And they didn't seem like this powerful thing. They are a powerful thing. You know, the out of the ashes of Return of the Jedi, Palpatine basically has stuff started that goes through.
They should tell us this in the movie.
Are you going to explain like the extended universe, or are you going to tell us why the movie was good?
Well, that's the thing is some things that people are having issues with is stuff that's in the extended universe.
But dude, you are
hold
fucking
on.
killing me.
But hold
That is
on.
I'll hold on.
The one of the things that people disliked in the prequels was a lot of just the talking head stuff with the politics and all that stuff. And so I think that Disney is apprehensive about putting some of that stuff in these movies because that stuff wasn't necessarily in the original.
But it totally is in the original for the 30 seconds you need it.
But yeah, that's the thing is it's in there. But again,
we have dissolved the last of the Republic. The fear will keep them in line, and that's the end of it. You go on,
and that's the thing is
the
they did not do that in this movie, and they didn't do it in Force Awakens either. And I think that is what causes so many problems with.
But I think Force Awakens works.
Force Awakens does work because we're starting the passing of the baton trilogy. That's the thing is this whole trilogy is a passing of the baton. I mean, realistically, it's a passing of the baton.
I don't hate the fact that they want to tear down Star Wars and do all this stuff. Like, that's fine because they should kill all the characters. They should get rid of all these people. They are human after all, right?
So
they're not going to live forever. But
there's a big difference in the way that you pass the baton, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I think though that we have to remember that also, and you hate this thing, but you're fucking wrong, and I'm going to tell you you're wrong every time. Star Wars is for kids.
No.
Okay, it's always
this is one
been
of the most bullshit arguments I've ever heard in my entire life.
You are wrong in this because the thing is I watched it with my kids in the theater.
Kevin Sharp,
they love
as the oldest gentleman in the room right now. Can you confirm something for me?
I would call Star Wars all ages,
Correct.
much like
All ages.
Pixar.
But the thing is it's also that means it's also for kids.
No, incorrect.
But the thing is
Star
you
Wars?
have to
No.
you have to remember that things like Anakin Skywalker, instantaneous boom, metachlorians, virgin birth.
I don't like that either.
I know you don't like that either, and you don't like the kid with the broom.
No.
And you like Rey, who just
Rey's
apparently
fine.
has powers.
Sure, I have no problem with that. Because midichlorians is stupid and the kid with the broom is eye-rolling and painful. Rey's awesome. It has nothing to do with the why they have powers. It's who the character is.
But it's a kid. That's why you just hate kids.
I mean, I love Superboy. I love Robin. They're kids.
They're more teenagers.
No, the whole point of Superboy is that he's only 10 and they won't let him join the Teen Titans.
Is again, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to make something that is that needs to please the old bitter asshole internet guy.
This
and
is
all age kids. Like
this
it's
is
really difficult to do that.
The most painful argument that people have on the internet. They're like, "Would you remember Star Wars is a kids thing?" No, it's fucking. It's never. Saying something is a kids movie. The connotation to that is that it's like G-rated. We've had multiple PG-13 Star Wars movies. That is not kids. You could argue maybe the first one, maybe. But even then, you have Han Solo killing Greedo and just fucking for no real reason, right? I mean,
you have killing and kid stuff?
Not like that. Not you don't usually have too many scenes in a kids movie where someone shoots someone in cold blood at a bar. That doesn't normally happen in a kids movie.
Hey, it's a cantina.
So
you watch some Saint Seiya when you were a kid.
So that argument of it's a kids movie, it doesn't have to be good or make sense. That's bullshit.
I can just say that having seen the first Star Wars, I want to say 6 times the summer that it came out.
Yes, that's what I was asking.
The lines of people waiting to get in and the people in the auditorium, you had all ages.
Right.
Yeah.
All ages.
Yep.
Everybody loved it.
Yep.
And it worked on every level. Again, I'm just going to say Pixar, like most of the Pixar movies.
Yep.
It's not a movie where the parent has to grit their teeth and take the kids and just be like, oh, God, okay, honey, it's my turn. I'll do it.
You say Pixar. I don't even think most Pixar movies are aimed at kids at this point.
Ooh,
Well, watch the end of Toy Story 3 and tell me that's aimed at little kids.
When we saw Up,
beginning of Up, yeah.
when you see Up, the kids were bored in the theater and the parents are just bawling their eyes out. Like, Pixar's not even for kids. Like, all ages is the inappropriate term, and I'll never disagree with that. But again, the connotation of saying something's for kids is a very different thing.
And I agree. Star Wars is definitely all ages. I do think they started making some decisions after the first Star Wars to kind of go, we can move more toys if we do this. Kids might like this, so we'll sell more toys. That's
business. The first movie. I mean, that's nothing new. Yeah. Oh,
now,
BB-8 and the Porgs are like the greatest inventions of some of the greatest inventions of the 21st century. Like,
that's why everyone hates the
Was
black
there a
BB-8.
scene in the movie where the fucking BB-8 was in a fucking ATST.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's more real.
Yes. That was real.
That should not ever happen again.
That was okay.
My son,
No.
my son loved
Not
that. He's like,
BB-8.
Daddy, that's my favorite scene of the whole movie.
I kind of thought that was
Well,
cool.
as I told
Really?
I thought
I
that was
was.
Ryan, as I said to you before, there was a moment I was sitting in The Last Jedi. Am I too close to the mic?
No, you're fine.
There's a moment I was sitting in The Last Jedi where I actually said to myself, have I just outgrown Star Wars?
was that scene?
Is this just not for me anymore?
Yeah.
And that was really a sad thought because it's
Yeah.
always been for me from when I was a tiny kid.
But then what happens? Luke has his only good scene in the movie where he talks to R2. And R2 busts out the
okay, and again, yes.
But that's such a great scene.
It's a great scene because it's trading on nostalgia for something old.
But see, I don't think so.
Sounds like something Marvel tries to do. and
Because
fails at.
that scene is the one moment where he
Had
kind
to,
of realizes, like, I think I got to do this.
Well, I know that Charlie had issues with where they had taken Luke Skywalker's character, and the thing is I can respect that thought process and like where they took him. But the problem is we haven't seen him for 30 years. But again, that's also an expectation, right? You get an expectation in your head of something that you want a character to go to, and when that character doesn't go there, you get either disappointed or
But we're
hopefully.
talking-
Yeah, but so the way I kind of look at this is at this point in the trilogy, I kind of compare this to really, really old wrestling where they went, we have these new characters we need to build up. So we have to have them kick the ass and tear down the old characters.
It's the passing of the baton.
But the passing of the baton doesn't have to be at the expense of beloved characters.
Yeah.
see,
Because I'm like, I didn't wait 30 years to watch Skywalker go down like that.
well, so I have no problem with how they killed Han Solo.
That was
I had
fine.
no problem
totally
with
worked.
that.
That was
Because narratively, I didn't feel like that tore down his character.
Yeah.
Leia should have died in this movie.
I think
She should have been the one driving the ship in hyperspace through the dreadnought.
Yes.
That scene was
I actually
awesome.
think she should have maybe sent a last message out, and that was the homage, not instead the same message from the first movie.
Sorry, I'm gonna steal the same joke I had in the Geek Box. If it wasn't her, then there should have been another scene in that movie where they're coming up, and you have Hux and whoever else was there, and they're looking at the ship as it starts to drift away, and they're like, "Finally, we got it." And then the ship, right at the last minute, turns, spins directly at them. Screen pops up. Admiral Akbar pops on the screen and goes, "It's a trap, motherfucker!" And it just zooms right into them and blows them up. That's what should have happened. Either Leia or Akbar. Akbar goes out, fucking off panel. What the hell, people? How do you do that?
While I agree with you on like 99% of your opinion of this movie,
How do you do that to Akbar,
what
man?
the fuck is with your fucking like fish dick tugging of Akbar? Like,
It's Admiral Akbar.
Akbar is one
No.
of the most recognizable things from Star Wars.
He's incredible.
He says
he's
it's a
great,
trap.
but he fucking like dies, and he dies not poorly. Like unlike a lot of the scenes in this movie, you know, you're loving Akbar too much. Is all I'm
I
saying.
love Akbar.
Akbar was jobbed like the Warriors 3 were in Ragnarok.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I will capitulate. That's a
We also
Good
have to
opinion.
see if they answer questions and things and tie up stuff
Well,
in the next movie.
with everything that they jerk to the left here, Abrams is just going to have to jerk it back in the next movie because it feels like this movie. Everyone's like, "Well, this movie took a left," and I'm like, "Well, that's cool, but
everybody loves a good jerkin though.
that's not where they're going to like. This makes no sense. So clearly, they're going to shift right back. I can't imagine 9 will continue as nonsensical.
Maybe
as this
it'll
one.
just be a documentary on how fast porgs multiply and the fact that the Millennium Falcon has
What
put
the
them
fuck
all
is a
over
porg?
the all
What is
over-
that?
It's
What
the
do you-
fucking
That's the
penguin.
little tribbles.
The little
Yeah,
Why on earth would you make the sound
Did you
effect?
catch the part where Chewbacca was going to eat one of them?
That
Where
was-
he
And was
roasted
cooking
them?
a second one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's sad as hell.
Nah,
Yeah, this kids
sort
movie.
That's sort of rang of old Star Wars to me. That seems like something they would have done in old Star Wars.
They were gonna eat Luke, but then they didn't. Here, he straight
Are you
up
serious?
roasted one of those porgs.
roasted too.
That was my problem.
Wait,
Was
they
if
were
he was gonna like capture them or something like
The
that.
porgs
and then
were going to eat Luke?
No, Chewbacca was going to eat 2 porgs.
No, the Ewoks.
Ewoks.
They were gonna eat Luke.
The
they
Ewoks
didn't.
are cannibals. There's a thing on Reddit.
Lane's a ninja. Yeah, fuck this
Anyway,
movie.
Star Wars.
Very average movie.
I'm like everything. When you have the internet, it's going to be a 1 or a 10. To me, this was like a 7. There were awesome parts. There were super cool parts. There was
It's
dumb.
It's not my favorite lot.
Dumb.
My
dumb
favorite
parts.
Star Wars movie.
I mean, it's my least favorite outside the prequels. So,
Yeah, I even liked Episode 3 more than this one.
ow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far either.
Well, yeah, because you liked it.
I know.
So, okay, well, spoiler alert there, ladies and gentlemen.
But again, it's
Well,
really the
it-
3, Force Awakens and Rogue, and then Last Jedi.
In this, when you have Star Wars, in my mind, you have basically 5 movies that are A to A plus between Star Wars, Empire, Jedi, Rogue One,
Is this the
and
fucking DC cinematic universe?
yeah. Between those two, Force Awakens
Like
and Rogue
every
One.
movie's an A. Yeah.
But then you have 3s that are like D's and F's, right? So this is like a B minus, maybe a C plus. So like, it's not terrible, but it's not great. It's got major flaws, and it's weird to see how many. Again, Bryce, sorry, people on the internet. How many people on the internet is like, this is the best Star Wars movie ever. This is the Star Wars movie for the new generation. This changes everything. It's like,
I think
what the hell movie
polarizing-
did you see?
Did you look at the next Reddit thread down where it said this is like the worst one? Like, if you read the internet,
because of people's anger towards this, it's like the Ryan Higgins Defense Force, the Justice League is out, but except for Star Wars, the shoes of the other foot, motherfucker. And now Star Wars fans are having to defend this movie.
what
Like
are you talking about?
Like
Our Facebook group is full of your defense force.
the internet in general. Like I defend DC movies. Star Wars fans are trying to defend this movie as like
Some are trying
as like
to
the
petition
second
it to be
coming
remade.
of Bryce.
That was hilarious.
And it's not.
By the way,
so.
every person, not just ladies, will tell you the second coming of Bryce is the better one. So, anyway, what I'm trying to say is that Star Wars was a totally fine movie. I have an extended version in the sequence Ryan Higgins recorded of my nitpicks and thoughts on the on this movie that is going to be recorded in the future. possibly not. Yeah, I mean, I thought that it was a very average movie, and that it's gotten way more hype than it deserves. And again, I'm on record as saying that I actually think that Episode 3 was not as bad.
How much money has it made?
It crossed $1 billion already.
All right.
Good talk. Okay, so I think that it was, Episode 3 was unfairly maligned. I think that they learned something from the prequel movies, and by Episode 3, they had a halfway decent movie. I thought that this movie was not bad, but that there was a fucking bunch of lot of random shit that didn't need to be happening in this movie that did. I loved The Force Awakens, and I think that was a relatively polarizing movie in terms of the fact that a lot of people thought that it was... some people really weren't on board with the fact that they basically redid the original Star Wars trilogy. Yes, the original Star Wars trilogy, where some people loved it. I'm in the latter camp, and so get on with your bad self. But yeah, this was just, I mean, the fucking Luke throwing the lightsaber over his hand, like no Jedi Master is being so fucking petulant. No matter what we're supposed to think about. We don't know what his mind state is, at the beginning of the movie, or whatever expectations we're supposed to have. I've seen a lot of memes that I don't understand about how what's the director's name? Rian Johnson.
Ryan Johnson.
Is it pronounced Ryan?
Ryan.
Oh, okay. Well, then you know that he's a tool. I love you.
That was a good one.
It was a mediocre one. About
I was
how
trying
he
to be nice.
Thank you. About how he threw out all of Abrams' mystery boxes. I'm going to need somebody to explain that to me because I possibly don't understand the extent of that. Or maybe it's just
Raised
sort of
parents.
I'm
Knights of Ren.
I am very annoyed by the raised parents thing, only because I'm frustrated that Disney can't get their shit together to figure out if that's going to be a thing or not. I don't mind that her parents are nothing, and I wouldn't have minded if her parents were Skywalkers or somebody of fucking import, but I'm frustrated with the fact that they made such a big fucking deal about it, and then they spent a bunch of lines in the beginning of this movie saying, alluding to, do you know the truth about your parents, only to have it be nothing in the same movie. That was sort of lame. So I have a bunch of other shit that I'll
I'm just excited to see Force Luke.
Well, you did in this movie, so that must have been exciting.
No, Force Blue, like death.
The ghost.
The ghost.
Oh, so when he gets the blue lenticular cover, that'll be exciting for you, as long as they do it well, as opposed to Marvel Comics.
Exactly. You're learning.
So normally I would like to talk about random other nerdy stuff through the year that we should talk about, but really there's only one thing to talk about here at this point, guys. Come on, man. What do you got to say about the Switch? You two can go away from this conversation. Bryce, Toby, Charlie.
Fucking Switch is the best. Let me think.
Is it
about what
the-
I'm
is
gonna
it-
say
is-
before I say it for
Can I
once.
remind everybody what happened on New Year's Eve? There was a little teeny tournament going on between me, Leanne, and Ryan.
Toby fucking hustled me and Leanne. And
Did you win something?
So we played, 3 rounds? That was the original. We were maybe played 2 or 3 rounds originally. I think
Mario
Leanne
Kart.
or Ryan won the first one. Leanne won the second one. I won the third. And I was like, yeah, now we got to do a tiebreaker.
This is what it's like to hear people talk about Twin Peaks.
yeah, it is.
Watch it.
Yeah.
is.
That's a great poll, because what the fuck is happening here?
I whooped the candy asses.
Oh,
Toby beat us in Mario Kart. That's what he's
Okay.
saying. Yeah.
is that the G-rated explanation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, C rated.
Okay.
For cart.
God, you
Is
guys
it spelled
don't-
with a K?
That's the joke.
Jesus.
You guys are the fucking worst. Anyway, is there any more on that story to extrapolate?
No, that's all.
The Switch is so awesome. If you don't have a Switch, you need to reflect on your life, and you need to go buy one, because the Switch is awesome. Do you take the train every day? Yeah, you probably do. So you need to go buy a Switch so you can play Zelda on the train every day. And on your way home, you can drink a beer while you play Zelda. It's incredible. Wait, am I projecting?
You can technically drink a beer on the way.
Yeah, unless you have a fucking job you need to be responsible for. What the fuck?
You're allowed.
Well,
to
there was
have
a
one.
lot of magic
Do
time with the
you
Switch.
work at a school? Do you drink on the way to work?
No, but I should.
Jesus. So anyway, yeah, the Switch is fucking incredible. Top 3 Switch games: Mario Kart with a C, Mario Odyssey, right?
Oh, Odyssey.
And
Incredible.
Zelda is number 1. My number 1, Zelda. Fucking Zelda. Did it come out
Splatoon
actually-
for me.
Did it come out last year, Zelda? Actually,
Yeah, I mean, Switch came out in
Everything
March.
came out.
So everything came out in 2017. Yeah.
for some reason, I thought, or should I say, I thought that Zelda came out in 2016 in like November, December for the Wii U.
No.
Just before. No.
No. Same day.
No. Same
It was
day?
supposed to. It was supposed to.
Wait.
but then
Oh,
they
okay.
pushed it back.
That's what I'm thinking. Nintendo can't
The
stick to
Switch.
their release dates.
Yeah.
But good.
Other nerdy things?
I mean, the Switch was it, really. That's all I had.
Oh, I got a humble brag.
What's your humble
Got to
brag?
see the fucking TARDIS before they shut it all down. That's
Oh, that's right. That's
one of
right.
my highlights of this year.
Yeah, I got to watch the video where they were disassembling it.
Yeah.
Made me sad.
I was there.
This
I
is the saddest
touched
thing
it.
I've ever heard Charlie say.
I know. I touched it, Charlie. They told me don't touch anything. I was like, just wait till you look away. I'm gonna touch everything again.
Ryan, could I throw in a curveball here?
Yeah. How about, since it's January 2nd,
Yeah.
something in comics related or geek related everybody's hoping for or looking forward to in 2018?
Good Marvel comics. Too soon?
I agree.
No, I really do. I'm not being jokey. I really want good Marvel
Oh,
comics.
well, I'm not being joking either.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to something.
I'm just glad Rogue and Gambit came out this year, not last year, so I could say it.
I'm looking forward to something, only so it can hopefully. Well, I'm looking forward to 2 things that hopefully
It's
can
the spark that ignites.
mean the change that I'm looking for, and that's Black Panther and Infinity War. Because if those are full of a bunch of dumbass jokes and pop culture references and
So
just
don't watch Ready Player One.
terrible.
So heaven hope they be as good as Justice League.
So you don't want
Heaven hope there
Smokey to
is-
show up in Black Panther?
Who?
Well, never mind.
I don't.
I didn't get that either.
The trailers
Never
look
mind.
so good for Black Panther and Infinity War. I pray
Is
that
there?
we're off this comedy bandwagon that Marvel Cinematic Universe has been in for like the last 2 years.
Well, editorial has been listening to this podcast and they've heard your opinion. And
about
they're
the
like,
movie, about the comics.
we gotta fucking change this
haven't
before
heard you
Ryan
about the
Higgins
comics.
They heard me. They just don't
gets
care.
the Ryan Higgins Defense Force out in droves and gets 20 people to not like our movies.
Who do you think's photoshopping all those pictures of?
Wait, is this gonna be a spoiler?
No.
Go ahead.
No, of what's his face of
Kylo Ren?
No. Director of Justice League. It tells his name.
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. Thank you. Zack Snyder is
You are
Jesus.
his fucking biggest fan. What are you talking about? You saw him in person.
My brain just
you
shut
saw
down
him
for a
live.
second.
You talked about how much you loved him.
Yeah. Mike's over there.
They can hear me anyway. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably.
It's good. Continue.
Rock, Charlie, anything?
I mean, I've been really enjoying the new standard season for Hearthstone, except for this last expansion. But I'm hopeful for next
It's a video
year.
game thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for the second half of the Tick season. I'm excited for the Cable Hope reunion in comics.
beat you to it.
Doomsday Clock. Come on, man. I hope for comics.
Doomsday
I want
Clock,
to see where
the
Doomsday
finish of
Clock is
Metal.
going to go. Yeah.
Oh, so we're saying what we're hoping for this year?
Hoping for
Well,
or
I'm hoping
looking forward
Zack
to.
Snyder comes back on the podcast to fully
Zack
talk.
Snyder?
Yeah, Zack Snyder.
I would
no,
like Zack
Scott
Snyder.
Snyder.
Came before?
His evil twin brother.
I hope we expand a little bit and get some more people to come on.
Maybe.
I want Scott Snyder to be back on at the end of Metal just to explain everything that I missed in Metal, because that would be amazing.
Because it's confusing AF.
No,
my
it's
God.
not. But
How
when
awesome
he
is
was
Starro?
on,
How awesome is Starro?
yes, Starro is
That's
awesome.
the best part of the series so far.
But my point basically is just having him on to rant a little bit about what's already happened made me go, I didn't really think about it that way. I would love to get that again when it's all over, just to kind of be like, hear him talk about it and then reread it afterwards. That would be amazing.
I would love to look forward to coming to this shop to buy a Fantastic Four comic that I was excited to read. I would not just to have one exist. I mean to have one that I was looking forward to every month.
Do you like the Hickman run?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic Four by Cy Spurrier and JRJR.
It's coming.
By the way, if you haven't
Yeah,
read the
I
latest
think-
issue
I
of
think I just
Metal
died.
and you need to understand why JRJR is the worst artist ever, go to the latest issue of Metal and go look at the second art page. It shows Batman with fucking rectangle fingers. Can you please go get it?
Somebody doesn't draw metal?
Yeah. That's great.
No, it's Greg Capullo.
No,
was
it's
the whole thing.
JRJR on the second art page. You guys are about to be schooled on a DC book by Bryce.
Is
Please
it
don't
like
let
an
me be
ad
wrong.
or something?
Please don't let me be wrong. Please don't let me be wrong.
No, the entire book is
Capullo.
is Greg Capullo.
Yes. Tell me that's not.
That's not JRJR. That's
No!
That's Greg Capullo. Mark it. This is January 2nd, 2018. Bryce is wrong.
Oh, start of a new trend in 2018.
No.
Wow.
Well, if
We have just found what's going to pop in Bryce quotes tomorrow.
all right.
I've never seen Ryan Higgins smile this much.
At least it's not DC wrong with Lem Ray.
Okay. The problem is Bryce is always wrong.
That's not
First
a problem.
of all, Lem Ray. Wait, what? So first of all,
you get me a
Capullo is
Hawkman
now
found?
the second worst artist in comics history.
What?
Well,
Can you shut his mic off now?
as of this panel. Second of all, if you look at Batman's fist, like, when the fuck does he have rectangle fingers? I thought that it was JRJR. Really? This also looks like JRJR. Look, what I want to establish is that if you look at the first two pages of art, and nothing beyond that, by the way, nothing beyond that.
Jeff Lemire. Don't worry, I'm trying to make you feel better. It's Lem Ray.
That's fucking actually, that's very funny. I did not see that or notice that. Anyway, look at Batman's fist in the second art page of Metal number 4, and you'll see fucking rectangle fingers, and you'll think that it's JRJR, because you'll also look at Batman Superman on page 1, and you'll be like, that is the most blocky motherfucker ever, and therefore it must be JRJR, and you just hate him, even though apparently it's Capullo.
Did you read
And I love
Batman
how I
from the New
re-
52?
And I love how I read it and was like, fucking JRJR. And didn't even like, oh, the whole thing is done by Capullo. All right. Anyway, so this time and this time only, I was less correct than normal.
So you were wrong.
But anyway, Metal continues to be aggravating, but not bad. But yeah, anyway, fucking rectangle fingers. Fuck that shit. He literally has rectangle blocks for fingers. My kid has played with those. He has rectangle toys, and I think that he just drew by himself
Minecraft?
Yes, my kid is playing Minecraft, and he just drew some Greg Capullo art. Good job, Greg Capullo.
Is that it? We done?
Does he realize that Greg Capullo could wipe the floor with him?
What the fuck? Look, if Charlie can't wipe the floor with me, fuck
Dude,
Greg
Craig
Capullo.
Capullo is like a bodybuilder.
He can knock the shit out of you.
Is that true?
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's the reason. He's the reason why not Zack Snyder, Scott Snyder started working out. It's because of
I
Greg
cannot
Capullo.
wait for Bryce quotes. I cannot wait for Bryce quotes.
Well, let me just say something to not
yeah.
backpedal. Is that bodybuilders are Greg Capullo? I don't know you, but I'm sure you're a handsome, well-built gentleman.
He can squash you.
Bodybuilders are very concerned with their body structure and can't fuck around, as in they can't have a beer because it's very delicate body physiology and chemistry. And so he wouldn't want me giving him a bruise on his biceps, and so I just bruised it. Holy fuck! Is that him? Yeah. Is that him, really?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay, I'm sorry, Greg Capullo. I take it all back. I take it all back. I take it all back. We would tie. We would tie.
Do you like square fingers now?
It would be a tie. I still hate rectangle fingers. Your rectangle fingers can go fuck themselves. But I do acknowledge that you could probably possibly tie me in an arm wrestling competition. Okay.
Oh, Bryce quotes. I can't wait to read you.
That is it. Thank you, guys. 2017 was a year. 2018. Let's see. Hopefully some good stuff. Aquaman. Ooh, I forgot about Aquaman. Excited for that.
Sure.
Oh, that's good. All right, we have to thank our good friends on Patreon. Because of New Year's, they're still processing all the Patreon payment stuff from last month. So next week, don't worry, we'll have all our new backers and all your $5 donation.
Picks eventually.
And random picks, yeah. It is a different episode. It's fine. We have to thank our good friend Julian Titus at the Nerds Without Pants podcast at pixelbit.com. Pixelbit.com. Ryan Hess has Blowhards, which is a video game podcast. You can check that out at blowhards.com. So hard. Jody Lawson has Canon, the Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicstudio.com. Thank you also to Manoa Place, Sam Che, Talon Bray, Craig Anderson, and Joe Duff.
Thank you.
And I definitely want to say that they did restructure that Patreon fee. They got rid of that stuff. For whatever reason, if you did not want to back because of that, but you can come back and back us. We didn't lose too many people, but we may not have lost
Higgins
anyone,
is trying
actually.
to say that baby got back.
But I do want to thank every single person that donated to us, or even if you don't, just everyone that listened to the podcast this last year. It was a good year for the podcast. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of cool people on. It's weird. Libsyn, the company that does the hosting, they actually changed how they track listeners or downloads. So our numbers were like all over the place, but they've stabled. So it's interesting to see kind of what we're looking at as like the new. Yeah,
were they right next to the little cart and buggy?
They've stabilized.
Was there a kid with a broom there?
Well, they're
Stabilized?
Stabilized. Yeah. They're fixing. They fixed them, so at least now we kind of know what our audience is, which is great to see because apparently the numbers before were off or wrong. I don't know. There were some months where I'm like, wow, way more people downloaded this podcast than ever. And the next month it would be like, hell, we lose like 80% of our listeners in 1 month. Like, what happened here? So it seems like it's back to normal, so which is good. But yes, thank you everyone that listened to this podcast. Mm-hmm. We had a fun year, and we got another one coming. So.
Oh, did I forget to mention Sam last week? The guy that came in last week?
You did.
I did? Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody that supports us.
The Comicspiracy Podcast and Geekbox.net is where you can find... Comicspiracypodcast.com and Geekbox.net is where you can find our previous episodes. Rate and review us. That always helps. You can send us an email at thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net. Don't forget to pick up some digital comics from us at digital.comicsconspiracy.biz.
We had a good 2017 with them.
Oh, a ton of sales, yeah. All purchases through that does bring some money into the store, so don't forget to pick up your digital comics from us there. Conspirator Brock, that's Brock's blog and video pull list. You can check that out there at conspiratorbrock.com. Mm-hmm. Charlie has Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. It's his Doctor Who podcast that's still going on, so you can check that out if you're looking for a new podcast this year. And my wife, Leanne, has her Etsy shop at etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. You can get some of her prints and
we still have some of
stuff
ours
there.
available?
We do. Yep. We got a handful left. A couple left, all signed copies of the Comicspiracy print that she did. We got them at the store. You can pick up at comicsconspiracy.biz. Follow us all on Twitter, Ryan Higgins, Ryan, Brock Sager, Larson, Bryce, Toby XI, Insanity and Chaos, Comics Con Store. That's all of us. Kevin Sharp is that Kevin Sharp. Mm-hmm. That's correct. Geekbox, Comedy Button, Manga Machinations, and the Infinite Binge podcast. Those are podcasts on our little network. You can go ahead and listen to those if you want. Kevin, did you want to plug your site, your books?
It's too late. I'm too drunk right now. So let's just go. Let's just go with the Twitter handle. Thanks, Bryce, and Happy New Year, everybody.
All right. Well, if you search for Kevin Sharp on Amazon,
that.
maybe you'll find a book or three. So
After Dakota.
After Dakota, thank you. And that's it. Again, happy end of 2017. Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a good Christmas. And we'll catch you next week.
See you next week.